All right, we are back here with Baldur's Gate: Descent into Avernus, Session 10. Very exciting. We have people all over here. The Adventure HQ house. A couple adventurers in their own little rooms and spots. But most of them here huddled around the big round table in their meeting room. So yeah, at the beginning of every session, we like to roll randomly to see who gets to recap. So if all of you want to roll 1d20 for me, and we'll see who gets the honor of recapping this time. I think it's probably going to be Igvis.
No.
I would guess.
Yeah.
I don't know why. There it is. I don't know what I typed incorrectly before.
All right. So looks like Igvis, you are the lucky winner. You get to go ahead and recap for us from your character's perspective on what happened last session. So whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah, give me just 1 second.
I don't hear the music. It's just 0 zeros.
Maybe try refreshing. I don't know if the rest of you can hear the music, but I can hear it.
I can hear the music.
Okay, my fault then. Sorry.
Okay, so the entire caravan was on their way to Baldur's Gate after killing all the goblins, losing some people along the way, delivering a baby, so on and so forth. While headed towards Baldur's Gate, we were met a couple days out by a regiment of the Fist, who basically got everybody out of the caravan and interrogated them pretty aggressively, we'll say, even to members of their own team. While being interrogated, it was just clear that, one, they're on edge, and two, the hatred that they had towards the Hell Riders or anybody outside of the city. During our trip, we ended up convincing the Hell Riders in our party to end up hiding their insignias for fear that they could be targeted while inside of it. We got into the city and across the bridge, and as we were crossing the bridge, no real issues occurred, but we ended up skipping a lot of stuff on our way to report back to our captain. There wasn't a huge amount of conflict or things that we had to deal with at the time, but we ended up just blowing by a lot of stuff on the way.
We were very focused.
We have a job and we're here to do our job, basically.
There you go. And cool. And I'll add one more thing there to the end. So as you were skipping all this stuff, just basically darting your way through the outer city limits, you did drop off the carts and horses and everything at one of the stables, and you made your way over to where the Basilisk Gate is, and you noticed a bunch of Flaming Fist members outside of the gate, and it looked like a fight was a-brewing.
Ah, right.
So we're going to go ahead and switch maps here.
There was a couple weeks that I apparently forgot those in my notes.
So, as I mentioned, as you guys come up to this part of the Basilisk Gate, and I'm just going to switch the live stream to my own view here. You notice going, towards the Basilisk Gate, there are a bunch of Flaming Fist soldiers outside, posted outside of there, and a bunch of commoners are gathered in a crowd outside of the gate itself. And all of a sudden, they attack the guards, and a fight breaks out. And you notice that the guards start beating up on these commoners, just full on punching and kicking the commoners, bruising them. You see blood spattering out of the mouths of the commoners as they quickly beat back this crowd. And before you can even get up to the gate, they have dispersed this crowd, and you hear one gentleman say, "Close the gate!" And he looks like this. And you see these big iron gates as he yells that out. Close. And the crowd dissipates, and a bunch of them kind of go back into these tents that have aligned the edge of the road, which you can see on your map there too. So on either side of the road are all these different hide tents, and you can see campfires and carts and wagons and what seem like commoners stationed outside in these tents. And those of you who are from Baldur's Gate, you know that these tents are not a normal thing. They weren't there when you left. But that is what you see. And the picture of that gentleman that I shared with you before, you see him ordering around other members of the Flaming Fist, it seems, as you approach.
Is he because it looks like he's a flame?
You would know, being able, and you can hover over, to see his name. But he's a tall, middle-aged man, and he has that gray hair and beard. He has silver and gold splint armor, and he has that red sash that comes across. And there's an emblem that clearly designates his rank as Flame. He has this black leather eye patch over his right eye and this large scar beneath his left eyes, showing that he's clearly no stranger to violence. And you're pretty confident. Well, those of you in the Flaming Fist, you know that this is Flamesage. You're familiar with Flamesage. And so you recognize him. He basically is in charge of the Basilisk Gate and, its close surrounding region.
This a normal occurrence for you, Flames?
Yeah, so you go up to him, because right now, as you guys kind of approach, I know where you are on the map there, but he's basically ordering a couple people around, and you see him actually talking to what looks like a manip that is right next to him by the gates, and you can see these gauntlets that are on either side of the road, but you just kind of walk through them and up to him.
Yeah, I'm just gonna watch him. And like, what's going on?
He says, "Right, who are you again?"
I'm gonna just pull out again the identification papers for my background and just gonna hand it to him.
Right. Vati, you own a business here in Baldur's Gate, that is, right?
That is correct.
All right, so you're looking to pass through. Only residents at this time, or those who have official business or trade papers, are allowed within the city limits. So you are more than welcome to pass. Of course. Who are the rest of you?
I'll go ahead and raise my hand. Gauntlet Craggle. I'll point at my shoulder. My badge was torn off in battle, but these two will vouch for me. And I'll point at Igvis.
And before you say that, Craggle, what I do want to point out for you, and I'll point this out actually to Igvis and Honed, you actually notice that there is a manip over here to the other side, right here, and you recognize that manip as your CO.
Oh, shit. Well,
so
in case,
said that. In case that changes, what you want to say. You notice that is Manip Salal over here.
Well, fuck. Everybody else should introduce themselves first while I think about this.
Then I'll approach and say, "Hi, I'm I'm the Fist Igvis. We were with Honed here. We were coming back from our mission with older Ravengar in Elturel. We have news to report."
And as you say that, Manip Salal, who was kind of busy, like looking over towards these gauntlets over here, and kind of watching the crowd on the other side, he kind of looks back, and he steps forward and he says, "Right, Flames Odge, this is one of mine actually. Igvis and Honed, both are mine." And you notice he doesn't really look at you, Craggle, or pay you any notice. But he says, "Igvis, Honed, report what happened. We're all in a frenzy here at the gates. We've heard rumors that Elturel has been besieged by dragons, and we have all of these people here, these refugees that have made camps outside of the gate. What say you? I know you went to Elturel with Raven Guard. Do you know where he is? Where are the rest of the Fist?"
Salal, can we speak inside? I would rather not go at the details out here, lest it cause panic.
Yes, I believe that to be best. And he'll actually beckon Honed, you and Igvis to follow him inside. And there's actually a door that's kind of towards the inside of the gate here that would allow you to go inside one of the towers here. And so you can see him, grab some keys and open up this door, which seems to be locked, and then beckon both of you inside. So for now, I'll kind of just move you guys over here. And we'll come back to your conversation. Let's kind of stay focused on the rest of everybody here. As Flame Zodge kind of watches the Manip go back inside, he turns his attention back to Vati and says, "Vati, obviously you may pass as well if you wish." And he'll actually beckon towards the door, and the Manip as well, Salal, if you wish to go with them.
Marza's gonna kind of raise her hand and be like, "I'm with Vati. I'm helping him with an investigation, and I'll be staying with him."
There's several of these folks that are with me. I'm at a current investigation. If you need, I can provide the papers for them. As far as investigation, I just need to sign a couple of things.
This is right. Well, let me see their papers as well.
I'm just gonna hand him all of my investigation papers that I have about the letter that I had received, but...
Okay, so you would hand him the letter, I guess, itself, and, obviously you already handed him your credentials for your business and your residency. And he says, "Right, I understand that you were on an investigation, but at the moment only residents are allowed inside the gates specifically, so I can't let anybody else inside the gate at this time."
Is it just for defensive measures, just to keep the peace, or is it...
Yes, that comes directly from the Parliament of Peers and the Dukes themselves. The city itself is closed off to non-residents or those who don't have appropriate paperwork with one of the trade guilds. It just came down this morning, that ruling.
What if I'm residing in his residence?
Well, you would need to have paperwork proving and establishing your residency. If you don't have that, then, Vati here on your behalf could go over up to High Hall and, make sure that he files the proper paperwork that establishes your residency, which would give you then the proper paperwork to enter the city. Until then, though, I'm afraid I cannot let you in.
So now they've gone through. They're out of earshot, right?
Yeah, at this point,
Okay.
Salal,
Yeah.
Honed, and all them have gone through.
So I would like to be back in the back, but then maybe step forward at this point. Excuse me, Master Flame or Flame. I I had my badge removed in battle, and I'll point at my shoulder, and I'm also catching up with the rest of the group there.
All right. What is your rank?
Gauntlet. I'm actually the leader of Igvis and Honed.
And your name?
Craggle.
So you report to Manip Salal as well.
Right, yeah, I'm just trying to catch up to him.
And you don't have your badge on you, so I'm sure that when Manip Salal comes back out, we can confirm that you are indeed also a Fist member, and we'll let you inside. Just for now, if you don't mind standing over here, Craggle, Gauntlet Craggle, and he'll actually just point over to the side of the road, and while we look at the rest of these and
okay,
get them to where they need to be.
Right. Yes, sir. I'm probably going to be keeping a wary eye through this gate to see if the law starts coming back or anything, but I doubt he will.
All right. Right then, so Vati, if you as I mentioned, you're more than welcome inside if you'd like. Obviously, you're a resident here. I'm sorry, but this other small one, friend of yours, I'm sorry I didn't quite catch your name.
Marza.
Marza, yes. Marza, unfortunately, you're going to have to stay outside of the city until such a time that your residency can be proved, or Vati can provide the proper paperwork for you.
And how long would it take for someone to get that?
Well, it depends on how far along in the process. If it's a matter of already having the paperwork and just retrieving it, I imagine it wouldn't take Vati much too long. But if he has to file from scratch to, establish new residency for you, it could take a couple weeks.
Even if he were hiring me on in his investigations?
Well, I mean, at that point, he would have to establish, paperwork from High Hall, with the stamp of one of the trade guilds. That shouldn't take too long, maybe a couple days if you were a hired hand of his officially for his business. But he'd have to make that record over at High Hall for you.
I see. Thank you.
Would I be familiar with any particular inns outside the walls? Ones I could direct Marza to if we need to meet up later.
Give me an intelligence check. And you can apply history too. You mostly spend your time inside the lower city. You don't really spend a lot of time in the outer city. But
17.
Yeah. I mean, that there's the Salty Dog Inn would be the name of one of the inns that is fairly close over in North Chapel, which is considered one of the safer parts, quote unquote, of the outer city. It tends to be more people in North Chapel that work within the city, but, are able to afford maybe slightly nicer accommodations and protection from the guild. So, I mean, you would probably recommend that considering it's in probably a safer part of the outer city.
Okay, so yeah, I'll telepathically message that to Marza that there's the inn that we can, the Salty Dog Inn that we can meet at later at.
I'm considering my options at the moment. Vati's once again trying to convince me to make bad decisions.
Is it something along the lines of just hide under my cape?
It's literally that. Literally.
Just hear me out, okay?
That.
Hear me out.
We walk away for a moment, and only Vati comes back, but his back is just a little weird. And I'm just under there, just koala.
Only 50 yards away, too. So, he doesn't even do anything. He just walks away and comes back, and you're gone.
Again, he can escort me to an inn?
Hear me out. We both make a stealth check. We really try to stealth you in. I'm saying it'll work because I don't really want to do paperwork. If I gotta be
Probably
honest.
not a good idea against the main guards of Baldur's Gate.
And he'll say, right, so now that we've established that, Vati, are you entering the city, or do you have more business out here in the outer city that you need to take care of?
I suppose I can go in.
Right then, and he'll kind of point over to one of the gauntlets, who will come over and will grab some keys from him, unlock the door for you, and hold it open for you. And I'll move your character back there. Yeah. There you go.
I can get through the gate myself. Actually, I'm blocked by this one particular line, but
Yes.
we'll figure.
You are. So I'll put you there. And then yeah.
Was I like clear to like follow, or was it like expected that I continue to wait?
Oh no, it was expected that you continue to wait.
Oh, okay, my bad.
You can stealth in under my cape.
Yeah, basically he said that, once Manip Salal comes back out and can confirm that you're one of his.
Once he comes back?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's what he said. If you just wait out to the side once he comes back and confirms that you're one of his, that you'll be free to enter.
Fuck.
Which is more of a formality, if anything.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem, though. Okay.
Yeah, formality.
So, he says, right, and you, who are you, as he looks towards you, Elias?
So Elias is going to awkwardly, lean on his shoulder. Elias is perfectly competent at this. Be like, I am the great Elias at your service.
Right. I prefer that you don't do that. But, Elias, what exactly is your business, here in Baldur's Gate? Do you have residency here? Are you part of a trade union?
I am but a humble bard in search of melodies.
All right, then I'm going to have to direct you away from the gate. At this time, you are not allowed inside.
Very well, good sir. And with that, Elias is just going to get off his shoulder.
Okay. And at this point, he's kind of watching you and Marza, basically expecting you to walk away.
Oh, well, actually, Elias is going to ask one more thing. Do you know a good inn in the area, good sir?
Says, right, well, there's a couple different inns here in the outer city. I'm sure that you can find one somewhere.
But which one would you recommend?
Says, I'm not sure that I'm in a position in order to make recommendations, but the closest one that I know of is the Salty Dog Inn over in North Chapel. Of course, there are many more inns if you continue out towards the outer city. I'm sure you came from that way, so you probably saw a few yourself.
That sounds quite good. Thank you, sir. And Elias is going to walk off.
Okay.
Okay, can I try to retcon something in that conversation?
Sure.
So essentially, I'm trying to get out of his peripheral, so I'm just behind him essentially, and hopefully not being seen by anyone. If I see anyone that's directly looking at me, then I won't do it. But I want to take the potion of diminution.
Okay, so all right, so you're trying to take that to become small. Now,
But only if I can glance around and see no one's looking at me.
So,
and then of course I'll probably have to do sleight of hand or something to not draw attention.
When you take that potion, you would know how it works. You would basically become the size of a halfling. Is essentially what.
It's a halfling.
You become small.
That would be hilarious, though.
Fuck.
Yeah,
You could try to sneak in when I walk in. Again, I just want a halfling to walk in with me.
Okay, but they're literally holding the door open for you.
Yeah, you become
He's
small
watching
size,
you
so
go
not
through.
insect size or anything.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not Jiminy Cricket on my shoulders.
Well, no, I can't do that then. Shit. I gotta think of something before the guy comes back.
And then,
You could just decide to escort us to an inn instead.
Well, okay, I'll think about that. But thank you.
and then
You can also incite a riot.
We saw how clearly that worked a second ago.
I'll think about that.
And then he points towards you, Kel, and says, and you, Dragonborn. And by the way, Kel, did you take off your Hellrider insignia?
Yes, I did.
I currently have it.
Right now. Yep.
Okay, and he says, you, Dragonborn, what about you? What is your business? Are you a resident of the city, or do you have business with a trade guild?
I am just a protector of the people. I am here to protect this group and to see them through their quest. I do not live here.
Right, and as I mentioned to everybody else, at this point in time, you're not allowed in the city, but you're more than welcome to leave and tarry off with your friends.
Have to say this guard's giving real service worker vibes. Retail.
About to post an FAQ billboard.
Tell you what, I gotta go take a piss, so I'll be back.
Right,
And
then.
I'm just gonna,
Yeah, and if you walk off, he's not gonna stop you or anything.
yeah. And under my breath, Marza would probably hear still Craggle going like, "Fuck, fuck, fuck."
Oh, I'm following him.
How about the rest of you? What are you doing? So Marza, you're following Craggle. Elias, what are you doing?
Elias started heading to the Salty Dog Inn like almost as soon as him and Flames Odds concluded their conversation.
All right, so that would basically be back the way that you came, which would be with Marza and Craggle. And
Marza basically sprinting to keep up with Craggle.
and let's see, what else? Cal, what about you? What are you doing?
I'm actually going to go over here to this camp to the left, and I'm going to kind of mingle with the commoners, and I'm going to try and pick up a Three Dragons dice game.
Okay. Cool. So I'm going to come back to you, Kel, in a second. Let's kind of move back towards Vati, Honed, and Igvis. So Vati, I mean, when you go through, you wouldn't see Honed and Igvis actually right here. They'd be like inside at another location. You kind of would have moved right past behind the inner gate. So you're kind of like on your own as you go into this section of the city, which you're pretty familiar with Baldur's Gate, obviously, because you live here. So I mean, you're in the Eastway portion of the city. But where would you head? Where would your first destination be? Kind of being.
I mean, I'd probably just head back to my office because now I've got a lot of paperwork to hire 3 new employees to get them through the gate.
And your office is in the Steeps, right?
Yes.
Right? Okay. All right. Sounds good. So you would start heading over to your office, and we'll kind of leave that where it is at the moment. Honed and Igvis, you guys are with Manip Salal, and you guys enter a room. He opens that door to go through, and then he opens a secondary door that doesn't exit the back of the gate. That goes a little bit farther into the tower, and you end up in a little office area that he sits down behind a desk and beckons for you to sit yourselves.
Hi, Salal. It's been a little while, hasn't it?
He says, yes, it has, Igvis, and Honed, you as well, of course. So, what is, please, speak. What's the deal?
Can I just say what we saw at the city, or do you want me to describe it?
Yeah, I mean, you're just gonna say it word for word, basically, what you saw exactly and how it happened?
The companions' light going out, city consumed, nobody...
Are you describing kind of your... Do you describe everything, like your way back and everything that happened, or just basically what happened to the city?
I'm starting with the city.
Okay. He says, that's different than many of the things that we've heard. The entire city just vanished?
As much as I can describe to you, the last we saw of Ravengard, we were sent on our mission, and on our way back is when the city disappeared. We don't even know if he was in the city when it happened.
Damn. And nobody has seen him. He's presumed dead at the moment. Yes, we're quite overwhelmed here, as you can see. All these refugees coming and popping up, these Elturians looking for asylum and spouting all of these rumors about what happened of dragons and these ships above the city and all kinds of things. We're not sure exactly what to believe right now. As you heard Flame Zod say, the gate has been closed on order from the dukes. So only residents and those with business and trade are allowed in the city until we can get this whole refugee crisis under control. He says, what about Craggle? It's been some time since I've heard from him. Where is he at the moment?
I'm going to take out...
And I'll just continue with that too, because he knows that Craggle went with you, even though he didn't see you off. So he'll say, did he not make it back with you?
Craggle is currently... he actually came back before us, and I'm going to hand him the note from Resmir.
Okay.
And so that, like, in the middle there, that there's people inside of the city that we're looking for. And say he's investigating this currently. We're trying to meet up with him.
Cult of the Dead 3, you say?
That's what we saw. We were originally investigating the Cult of the Dragon, but they all seemed to be killed by this cult before we even found them. So there's definitely something brewing in the city.
Says I see in Tarina. Says I think you should show this to Flame Zodge. He has some dealings with this Tarina, and I would keep this name to yourself, as she's an informant of the Fist, actually specifically an informant of Zodge. So he will probably be able to help and give more information on this matter, and may even have direct orders for you regarding this. And when you see Craggle, make sure that he comes to see me right away. It's been way too long until he's reported directly to me, and quite frankly, I'm getting a little impatient.
I completely understand, sir. I do have one quick favor to ask. We came back with a caravan. Obviously, I can't get everybody in the caravan in, but can I get some emergency asylum for, say, 5 people to come into the city with us? They were with us during these attacks, and I think they'll be a great help to us to investigate this.
Roll me a persuasion.
Oh, and you want to help out with this, buddy? Because I suck at persuasion.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, so you can both roll persuasion, your own checks. And what do you say, Honed, to him?
They've been with us since El Torel, so I consider them one of us, really. Like, they've been helping us with getting the caravan to Baldur's Gate. They've been helping us with all the shit on the road on to Baldur's Gate, so I consider them one of us. So if we could get them to come through and be one of us temporarily or whatever, be fantastic.
Says, So, well, I'll tell you this. I don't have the authority to be able to grant them safe passage through the gate at this point in time, but Flame Zodge does, and I know that he currently has a problem on his hands. And if you were to help him with this problem, I'm sure that he would be more amicable to allow your friends entry through the gate. I would be happy to speak on your behalf to Flame Zodge and recommend you as being able to help with this problem, and then maybe he will find it as part of your reward to allow them through the gate.
For a little bit.
Could the rest of you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically he just he says that Flame Zodge has a problem, and that he's been dealing with, and that if you were to help Flamesage with that problem, he might be, more amicable to allowing some of your friends to slip by through the gate, and that he will put in a good word for you with Flamesage, and kind of basically introduce you and say that you are the right people to take on this problem if you would agree to help him. But that he himself doesn't have the authority to just allow your people through that would be Flamesage's prerogative as commander of the gate.
All right, I think I missed some audio there. Am I caught up?
I think you are. I don't know.
Okay.
What did you get? What'd you get from there?
That he couldn't let us in to report to Flamesage, and he would put in a good word for us that they were okay.
And solve a problem for Flame Visage to get the others in.
Okay.
Yeah, Flamesage has a problem that needs solving, and if you solve that problem, he'll be more likely to let your friends through, and that he'll put in a good word with you, for you, with Flamesage.
Okay, awesome. For some reason, it just went... I was, out for a minute. I didn't hear anything.
All right, no problem.
Okay. Is the issue in the city or out of the city?
Well,
as far as you're aware.
It's outside of the city. I'm aware of the issue, but I'll let Flamesage explain it to you if he decides to take you on at his discretion.
Okay, I'll go talk to him then. Is there anything else you need from me for now, sir?
Not at the moment. Just as I said, when you see Craggle, have him report in. I'm impatient and a little upset.
I think we all are, sir.
Right. And with that, he'll go back towards his post, towards outside of the gate, and he'll bring you with you, and he'll say, "Do you have any business to do inside the city, or would you like me to introduce you to Flamesage right now to talk about this issue?"
I think my business can wait a little while longer. I would prefer to go talk to the Flame now.
Okay. And so he'll actually lead you back outside the gate, both of you. And, he'll lock that door behind him with the keys that he has, and he'll walk up to Zaj. And you'll say, "Sir, Flamesage, that problem that you've been having." And Flamesage puts his hands behind his back and kind of raises his head and raises an eyebrow. Says, "Yes, what of it, Manapsalal?" And he says, "Well, this is Igvis and Honed, and I trust them, sir, and they are good soldiers, and I think that they would be best fit and uniquely qualified to be able to handle this concern that you have in the investigations that you need solving. I would like to recommend them for duty on this, sir." And he says, "Right then, Manap, I will take your recommendations, and Igvis Honed, was it? Fist Igvis, Fist Honed. What makes you uniquely qualified for investigative work?"
Well, older Raven Guard pulled us specifically for a task in Elturel, as you're aware. And if he can trust us, I'm sure you can as well.
Right, well, I think that's good enough for me, so... There's obviously a reward that's involved with this. I'll give you each 200 gold pieces if you're able to solve this investigation, which is basically has eluded us for quite some time. He says, "The refugee crisis has stoked fears that Baldur's Gate might suffer the same fate as El Terrell. Grand Duke Older Ravengard was on a diplomatic mission to El Terrell, as you well know, when the city fell, and as such, some blame the Elturians for his death, or at least, they think they have some ulterior motive. Tension is high, violence against the Elturian refugees is common. We're stretched thin just trying to keep the peace at the moment. A few of the Hell Riders escape the destruction and think we're somehow to blame for El Terrell's downfall. We're arresting and interrogating them on sight on order from the Parliament, but all of this has left us short-handed to deal with this other problem. Someone or something is taking advantage of the current crisis to commit murder sprees within the lower city. As if that wasn't enough, a simultaneous set of murders within the outer city started 6 days ago, with bodies being dumped in the alleyways behind the Salty Dog Inn over in Northchapel. Coincidence? I think not. If you can solve these murders within the outer city for me and bring me proof that they are connected to those within the city, you'll have my gratitude, which is worth quite a bit.
Understood. Sounds like something that we can handle, sir.
Sounds good.
I do have one suggestion. That bugbear we let in just a little bit ago. He was traveling with us, and I think he'd be useful. If we can just make it 200 for each, like for the three of us, we'll be more than happy to get this taken care of for you.
And he kind of looks at you for a second.
Or 400 between the three of us.
And he says, "Right, no, I'll do 200 between all three of you if you can solve this problem. Fist.
Sounds
200
good.
each, that is."
Okay, I'll go get him from inside, and we'll get started immediately.
Right then. You are dismissed.
And I'll give him the flaming fist salute as I go back inside. Honed, go see if you can find the rest of them out there, okay?
Okay, I'll start meandering back the way we came, looking for everybody.
Okay. Sounds
And
good.
I can't go through the wall. On the bright side, Vati told me where his office was, so I know which direction to head.
I told you, and Hone, and Craggle, actually. I gave you all three my address.
All right.
Yeah, so it won't be hard for me to track down Vati, because I know the direction he's headed, at least.
Yeah. And Honed, you're going to go off looking for everybody else, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. I don't believe you were around when they were saying where they were going.
No.
So you just kind of wander down the road, I assume.
Yep.
Okay. So you just continue to wander down the road unless you decide to do anything else. Let's go over to you, Kel. So you are over in this camp, in this encampment, and as you kind of make your way through all of these hide tents and the little fires that have taken place in these carts and wagons, you see people in rags and people coughing. As there's clearly a lot of people here that are sick, are poor, are just doing what they can to really survive here on the skirts of the gate. You specifically look to see if you could maybe get a game going. It doesn't look like anybody is really in the mood for games. Everybody's pretty hard at work, either moving around wood for the fires or washing, some of their dirty clothes, however they can in little tiny basins, handing out food for each other or cooking meals for those who need it, watching after, a couple little children, that maybe themselves are running around. But it's a pretty dreary atmosphere.
He did say that he was going to be right back as well. So
Gotcha. Are you there, Kel? All right. So I will repeat all that when you get back. All right. we will go back to Igvis and Vati then for now. Okay, so Vati, you're going over to your office. So you'll obviously arrive there. Well, actually, I'd say Igvis, you could probably catch up to him in the streets just because of your movement speed. That you would probably catch him in the streets before he actually gets to his office. So if you guys want to interact with what you say to each other as you catch up to him.
Hey, Vati! Wait up!
Igvis, I assumed you had more business with the fists.
Well, yeah, and I think I might have got you another job as well. You don't want to do all that paperwork to get the people in the city, yeah?
I loathe going to either the trade center or what did you call it, the hub?
High Hall.
The High Hall, that's right. Or the High Hall. People there are just, you know.
All too well. The Flame, Zod, he has a job. There was some murders done in the outer city that he wants investigated, and he's willing to pay myself, Honed, and I was able to speak to him to include you as well, 200 gold apiece to investigate. He'll also, with his word, we may be able to get the rest of the guys in the city as well.
Okay, that seems...
We might be able to skip the bureaucracy, is all I'm trying to say, and make a little money on the side.
Well, I'm more than willing to do any of that. So, does he have any... did he give you any details of the murder, or should I go talk to him when we get back?
He gave some general details that murder started 6 days ago in the outer city, and he thinks that people are taking advantage of the situation with the refugees.
That would make sense, although I did hear some murmurings among the folk here about possible murders inside the walls?
There have been some there as well, but he specifically wants us to investigate the outer city. They're spread a little too thin out here.
Yeah, seems that way. El Terrell being gone is kind of a problem.
It was a big part of this area, that's for sure.
All right.
So, everybody else obviously couldn't get in. Knowing them, they're probably at the closest tavern.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I think I heard Elias going towards.
Yeah, sounds good. Whenever you're ready, then you can meet us out there.
Well, let's head back. I just screw going to my office at this point.
Okay.
If the only reason I was coming back here was to set up for Alyssa, but also to file paperwork. So might as well go deal with murders.
We might be able to skip all the paperwork.
Thank God. All right, thank the gods.
They're the ones who got us in this mess. Let's be real.
Well, lead the way.
All right, and we'll head back out. And on the way, I'd say, if you want some more details, you can talk to the Flame on the way out. But I imagine they're going to be at the tavern. I can go round them up.
If you want to go round them up, I will speak with the general, get some more details. Obviously, I need somewhere to start my leads.
I'm just going jogging. Whee!
You might want to introduce them.
Oh yeah, I'll go to the Flame and be like, Flame Zodge.
Yes, Fistigvis.
This is Vati, the gentleman, the investigator that we let in just a little bit ago, who had this paperwork. He's the one I'll be having join us on this investigation.
Right.
Pleasure to meet you again.
Yes, pleasure.
I told him the general details, but if you have anything else to add that I may have missed, feel free to include everything. And
do you have names of the victims? Anything extra than the general? I just need somewhere to start, if you can understand a little bit.
Right, I do have some names of the victims. So the bodies are being dumped in the alleyways behind the Salty Dog Inn in Northchapel. There have been 6 victims so far over the past 6 days. The first one, Lawrence Ulin, was the first victim, and We sent him off to Candle Hollow's mortarium in the city, and I believe he's being interred in the Cliffside Cemetery. He was a resident of Northchapel, a famous elf hell rider, I believe. The second victim was Mien Kas, and I believe he's since been buried at the Shrine of Suffering. He was a pauper of Stony Eyes, whose family was outcast from El Terrell 50 years ago, or so I'm told. The other 4 victims over the last 4 days, I'm not exactly sure what their names are. It's hard to keep track, but after that, we've just started keeping them and held them at Candle Hollow's mortarium for the time being, those bodies. We haven't released them yet, given the nature of these murder sprees and the serial nature of it. If you ask amongst the refugee camp, though, I'm sure that maybe you could learn more about the latest 4 victims and who they are and more about them.
Okay, sounds good. Also, real quick, just for official things, is there a license, some paperwork I can have, just in case I run into any other Fist members, if they seem like I'm doing... I just don't want it to seem to other people that I'm doing something not what I'm supposed to be, if you understand.
Right.
For example,
he'll point into he'll pull out a small badge and he'll hand you this badge, and he'll say, "This will identify you as a deputy of the Flaming Fist, as basically the same identification that Igvis and Hond has as a low-ranking member of the Flaming Fist. You may use this for the time being, and once your investigation is done, you can return it to me when you come to collect your reward."
Sounds good enough for me.
Any other questions, Vati?
And I know the bodies have been since moved, but you said they were all in alleyways near the Salty Dog. Do you have like a general radius?
So they were left in alleyways behind the Salty Dog Inn, in the alleyways that are right behind it. That's just where they're discovered, and then we bring the carts from the mortarium over to kind of collect the bodies and bring them over there. But basically, directly behind the inn is where those bodies were found, right behind the building itself.
The vicinity is adjacent. Gotcha. Okay, I think we're good to start.
Yeah,
and if we have any more questions, we'll come back to meet you here.
We'll be off. Thank you for your help.
Right.
Well, like this, shall we get the rest?
Yeah, let's get going. And by the way, Kel's back if you want to do the thing with him you mentioned earlier.
All right. You're back, Kel? Can you hear me, Kel?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Right, perfect. So as you kind of go over into this camp, I know you had said you wanted to play some games, but you notice that, there aren't really anybody playing games. In fact, it's a pretty down and dour situation. You see people that are in rags, and they're pretty dirty in general, people coughing. It seems like maybe there are some diseases throughout the camp, and it's just a very impoverished kind of area right now between the camps, as people are just trying to survive and are pretty hard at work. You see people that are moving logs, for the fire, and there are people washing their clothes in little basins, and trying to cook and distribute food to those who will take it. It seems like everybody here is pretty on edge. It doesn't look like anybody is probably in the mood to be playing games.
Okay, so I'm. Am I concerned about there being diseases and such?
I mean, they're definitely coughing and they're dirty. It's definitely an area you probably don't want to linger in too much, right? But, if you don't want to get sick. But, yeah, I mean, I guess that's up to your character, right? As far as how much...
Yeah, I'm actually going to move back out to the outskirts of the camp. He's gonna kind of look around and he's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm not sure if I really want to be here. I'm gonna go back over here." And is Honed actually where he is on the map? Out of character.
Yeah, I'll be right there. Be looking around in the camps, looking for everybody.
So Cal's gonna walk over to Honed and go, "So, Honed, what are we doing? What are we gonna? Everybody's off doing their thing. What are we doing?"
I'm just looking for everybody. We got some work to do. Flame Zodge has got some work for us and might be able to get everybody into Boulder's Gate without any paperwork. Do you know where everybody else is? Are they all with you, or were you just by yourself?
I was just kind of loaning it. I was looking for a Three Dragon Annie game, but I don't think I'm gonna find one in this camp. So we might want to find everybody else if there's work to do.
Do you know where they went to?
I know Elias was heading for an inn, and I'm not sure where Marza and Craggle went. They kind of left in a hurry, so we might have to find them.
All right. Well, we'll head to the end first. To get Elias, and we'll go from there. Maybe he knows where everybody else is.
And at this point, as you finish up that conversation, you actually see Igvis and Vati talking to Flame Zodge over by the gate as they've come back out through the gate.
Okay. I guess we'll just wait on the pathway for them to come to us, and we'll just start making our way.
Yeah, and then eventually they stop talking to Zodge and they continue on down the road, and you guys would see Honed and Kel, Vati, and Igvis kind of on the side of the road.
Well, look, look what we found.
Well, we got one. Cal was saying that he heard that Elias was going to an inn, so I figured it's probably like the nearest one, and we'll
And
round
the
up
nearest,
Elias.
the nearest one was the Salty Dog, correct?
Yes.
All right. Well, we'll head to the Salty Dog and see if Elias is there and if everybody else is there, or
Isn't that
maybe Elias
convenient?
knows where everybody else went to.
Knowing Craggle, he's probably drinking, so he's probably there.
And if I had to guess, Marza went with Craggle. That'd be my guess.
Okay.
All right, off to the Salty Dog then.
Yep, let's go find us a bard.
Aren't we lucky?
Bard.
We're going there anyway.
A bard, you say? That's one way to interpret him.
All right. And we will switch scenes here.
The Salty Dog. I can't.
The Salty Dog Inn.
It's very dark in here.
Yes, for you it is at the moment. Sorry, I was just putting the thing on. So I'm going to place Igvis, Kel, Honed, and Vati on the map. But at the moment, just keep you guys where you are. Because Elias, Marza, and Craggle, you would arrive first here on scene.
Elias might be a little ahead of us, I think. Because he turned and left immediately.
Right, he did. Yeah. So Elias,
And I'm out.
as you kind of pull up here down this side street of Nordchapel, over here, I know it's like just black right now, but there's a door right there. And you can see a sign that's hanging over the door that says the Salty Dog Inn. And conveniently enough, and it's currently closed. I mean, you could go and open it, though, you think so. Would you like to open it, Elias?
It shows on Discord that you're trying to talk, but I can't hear anything, Sean.
That's a great new headset, bud.
Yeah, I can't hear you either. It does. You are lighting up green, though. Like you're talking, but I cannot hear you.
All right, did that work?
Oh,
Yep.
now
Yeah,
I
there
can
you
hear
are.
There,
I
you're
accidentally
there.
pressed the mute button.
Classic.
That'll do it.
Oh yeah, Elias is going to walk into the inn, and is the owner there?
Yeah, so as you walk into the inn, you do see the owner there, who is right in front of you, it seems. The barkeep, and I'm just going to quickly share for the stream what this person looks like. Loading. Ah, there we go. That's what I want. So you come in, and there's this short, voluptuous halfling woman who is behind the counter with this big, bright smile. And you notice that the rest of the tavern is curiously empty.
Hello, ma'am. Elias at your service. I am but a bard seeking to trade a song for a bed and a warm meal.
Oh, Elias, you say? Oh, well, it's great to meet you. I finally have a customer. That's fantastic. Yes. So you're looking to trade what you said?
Out of game, Elias is trying to mention it's a it's a background feature of he can stay at an inn for free normally if he provides music and performances to help them bring in customers, basically.
Cool. Yes. Okay, and she says, oh, please then, I haven't heard a song in quite some time. Please, sing it for me.
Indeed.
I assume you're a singer, or do you play an instrument, or...
With a natural 20, Elias is going to sing and play his lute to try to bring in customers, as well as convince her that he should be allowed to play.
Yeah, sounds good. So so you play, sorry, say again, you play your flute? Is that what you said?
Lute.
A lute.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And, describe what kind of song is this? What are you playing? Is this, what genre of music? What's the song about? Are you singing with it, or just
So,
playing
in
the
this
lute?
case, did Elias ever see Billiam's journal?
That's a good question. Who had Billiam's journal? I think Vati has it.
Yeah, Vati had that. We did read it out aloud, but I don't know if that was just for us and not necessarily as for the characters.
I handed it basically to everyone. Everyone did see it, but Vati
So
has it in
Elias
his possession.
is going to sing some of. He's going to look at her and say, "I'm going to sing a song from a friend of mine who died on the way here," and then he's going to just kind of overlay Billiam's words to lute music and try to make it sound almost like an epic story.
Awesome. And so you do that, and she starts to tears start to well up in her eyes as she says, "That was quite beautiful. I haven't heard anything like that in well as long as I can remember. That's That was beautiful, Elias. Yes, of course, you can stay here. Yes, absolutely. For free, on me.
May this bring you many customers, ma'am.
I hope so. It's been, well, to be honest, Elias, been quite down here for, quite some time. Nobody will really buy rooms here, at least for the past week.
Why not? Whatever has gone wrong, ma'am?
Well, I'm not sure if you're aware by now, but there are rumors of the Sickle Man in town, and I'm afraid that there have been dead bodies that have been dumped behind my inn, and well, the Flaming Fist aren't doing anything about it, and it's scaring away a lot of customers.
Real quick, do you think we would, because I figured during the song and stuff we'd have caught up, would we be able to hear this from the door?
I kind of envisioned it as they walked in during the song.
Yeah, so I'd say
Marza saw Elias singing and decided not to go in.
Yeah, I'd say that while the song's going on, you could be at the door, Craggle and Marza.
Seeing her stop, I'll kind of laugh. Don't worry, the alcohol makes it better, and I'll go in.
Okay. So you can go ahead and enter Craggle if you want. At this point, you guys can move where you'd like.
Look, the music already brought in customers.
Well, it was that 20, so it was got to do something at least.
Yeah, but Marza doesn't like you.
Does anyone like Elias?
Craggle hates
She'll acknowledge the song, but...
So, yeah, so you guys would see this and you would hear that part of the conversation, yes, as she's explaining that to Elias. And then she'll kind of look up and say, "Oh, I have 2 more new customers. Oh, joyous day, your music worked, Elias. Look, we've attracted 2 more."
Indeed. Elias is going to just keep playing music and pretend not to see them.
Okay.
Hurry, Marza.
I'll take an ale and, one of the strongest of whatever you've got.
Yes, absolutely. I can do that for you. So that would be 5 copper pieces, please, and I will give you my strongest ale.
All right, thanks.
And she'll come over with some ale and say, "Are you hungry as well? I, could whip something up in the kitchen. We have quite a few different things on our menu that, they're to die for."
I could go for a little something to eat. Craggle? Food?
Not now, but thanks.
All right.
Well, I have a sausage in a hole that I can give you for 1 silver piece. There's also our fantastic pair of bangers, that we're really well known for. Of course, we also have the love sausage and dry rubbed meat. Or if all 3 of you are hungry, I have the spit roast, and that feeds 3 people.
Woo, let's go for a sausage in a hole.
The name.
And so she brings out, she says, "Absolutely, that'll be 1 silver piece for the sausage in the hole."
That's a cheap date.
I'm imagining pigs in a blanket.
And she comes out with what looks like basically a sausage, and it's just kind of sticking out of a piece of bread, like straight up, with like a little hole that's made in the bread. So it's like a flat piece of bread that's kind of risen, and then there's a hole, and the sausage is stuck in the hole, just kind of sticking straight out. And she'll come back and she'll put that in front of you.
All right.
And you hand her the silver piece?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll bring that up.
And you over there, sir, as she kind of looks at you, Craggle, can I interest you in anything? You seem like the
I'm bringing Craggle the stronger ale. Like, I got the weaker one for myself, and he's getting whatever the strongest thing they have.
Wow,
was.
what an empath, dude.
She says, I feel like, you're the kind of person who might like the love sausage.
Perhaps. I'll get back to you on that. And then as Marza puts the dish back down on the table, I'm going to take a swig and just be like, what the fuck is that?
It's in a hole. I could have gotten the bangers.
Sounded a little more fun if you ask me, and I'm going to flick it. I'm going to flick the sausage.
I'm just gonna eat it as fast as physically possible and not look at it.
Yeah, so you guys are able to do that, and you guys are the only ones that are in here. And, you know, at this point, after she's gone back and she's cooked this meal and she's brought it out and you've sat down and Elias has played some music, the rest of you now at this point, Igvis, Kel, Bati, and Hone, you would be able to enter here into the establishment.
So before seeing people, everybody start to enter, Mars is gonna like try to start a conversation with Craggle. Like, are you good?
You know, I've made it this far, but it does seem like the world is getting smaller, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Look,
The further you go, the fewer places you have to run.
Those may be wise words indeed. I'm going to take a big old swig. Thanks, by the way, and I'll be happy to explain, but I have to talk to Ignis first. He deserves it.
Understandable.
So as we approach, I'm actually going to let them walk in the inn. I'm going to go back this alleyway over here and start kind of getting like a general idea of what I'm looking at.
Yeah. So, you know, you'll see what you see there on the map, which it looks like it's just an alley behind, and there are definitely houses that are, you're kind of like on the back end of a bunch of houses that create this this alley that ends in a dead end behind the inn.
And there's, is there any like, when I'm looking, do I see like any reason as to what goes on behind here? Like, is there like trash that they throw here? Is there like storage back here? Or is it just like a random alleyway that's formed based on like the buildings that are around?
A little bit of both. I mean, it looks like it's kind of just a random alley that's formed based on the buildings, but there are some barrels back there and crates, like, you know, maybe the inn itself maybe has some things that they store back there.
Okay.
But not necessarily built that way on purpose.
Okay, and then is there a back door into the inn that I can see from here? Or is it just like windows and stuff?
Yeah, there's no back door to the inn.
Yeah, okay. Doesn't like seem like there'd be a reason as to why anyone would accidentally wander over here. Then I'll come back around the alley and I'll come meet you guys.
I'll go with the initial investigation so I can talk to them. As I walk in, then I'll see Craggle and Marza at the side and be like, oh, I figured I'd see you guys drinking somewhere.
I'm glad you're here.
Well, I have some good news for everyone. We were actually given a job by the Flame at the gate. There are some murders nearby. And if we can get it resolved, we might be able to get you guys in the city without the bureaucracy.
Why are we investigating these murders? Does something connect them, or?
Not entirely sure yet. There were murders inside and murders outside. We think it was just because of the situation with the city and the refugees, more than anything. But if we can get it resolved, as I said, we can get you guys in the city probably far sooner than going through the normal methods.
Hope you got payment as well.
We'll talk about that later.
Well, I'm gonna turn to the barmaid lady, and I'm assuming she would have to go like back into the kitchen to cook, so she's not in here anymore. Or would she be able to cook like
right
from
now
that counter?
Yeah, well, she has to go back into the kitchen in order to cook.
Right.
But
All right. I'll be like,
Yeah.
I'll raise my hand. Like, excuse me, miss.
Yes, yes. How can I help you? Oh, this is a joyous day. We have so many customers here. It's the most I've seen in quite some time.
One pitcher of this, and I'll hold up my mug of the strong ale, and one love sausage, please.
Yes, of
I'm
course.
sorry, what?
Igvis, bangers. Something in the hole, perhaps?
She says, yes, I'll be right out. And she kind of moves and comes back in into the kitchen and closes the door as she presumably goes to work cooking something.
And I'm just going to assume we got the pitcher of ale for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, unfortunately, and I'm going to look to Marza, I feel like I'm running out of places to run. And I'm going to need your guys' help now more than I care to admit, frankly. I'm going to turn to Igvis, and I'm going to pull the necklace that Craggle gave me out of my pocket, and I'm going to hold it out to him. I'm going to say, you've been a very good friend, and I appreciate everything you've done, and I hope to help you with whatever Craggle wanted as much as I can. And I'm going to hold it out to him.
Okay. I'll reach out and take the necklace from him and put it into my pouch and be like, I appreciate this Craggle. I don't know. I guess
I'll kind of laugh. You don't have to call me that anymore. And I'll turn to the others. My name is not Craggle, and I'm not a flaming fist. I'm a fugitive of sorts, and I've been in hiding for some time now.
Started to gather that.
My real name is Dolakesh.
So much for the danger we weren't going to be in.
Oh, no. You must not tell anyone my name. It is to be your deepest secret. The people that are hunting me will absolutely tear through you and everything you love to get to me.
Is there something we should call you instead, if you don't want to be called Craggle or shouldn't be here?
If I'm not in front of the Mephit that we saw, or wait, what is his rank again? Was it Mephit? Manip.
Manip.
If we're not in front of the Manip that we saw at the gate, then you can refer to me as Craggle in the city. I would appreciate it if you didn't use my name unless we were in utter privacy, but even then, there are ears everywhere.
Understood.
Elias is actually going to chime in a bit here because he has been listening. He's just been pretending not to notice people. He's just
you are on the other side of the inn. Would Craggle have said it loudly enough for that?
Yeah, we're probably whispering this.
That would be a very careful
I'm definitely
thing.
talking quietly for sure.
He's also actively trying to listen, though, because he's not talking.
But also playing music.
I'm fine. Honestly, I'm fine with it. I wouldn't be telling it to him if he was here. So yeah.
And he's just going to look at you and say, some names are best left dead, and just return right to playing.
Just don't sing any songs about it. We'd appreciate it.
Starts belting a tune. There was once a dragon named Dolakesh.
This is his exact physical description. He
has wings that can't fly.
It's at this moment I'm gonna. That's when I'll walk back in the tavern and be like, "We'll let Elias start singing." I mean, it sounds beautiful.
He got here first.
It sounds good, but really, also, how are we the only ones in this inn?
You want some bangers?
Do you really have questions?
I know.
Spit roast?
I would think that.
Couple of bangers.
Martha, I have
sausage in a hole.
I feel I don't hear you speak very often, but quite a foul mouth on you.
It's right there.
It's on the menu, bud.
And she
what's for dinner tonight?
She comes out, and you had asked for what again?
Whatever.
I think you asked
sausage.
for the
Love sausage.
Yeah, so she comes out, and it's literally a sausage in the shape of a heart. and very big, long sausage in the shape of a heart.
Oh, it's long.
And she places it down in front of you and says, "That'll be 3 silver pieces for the love sausage and 5
My
copper
God.
pieces for the ale."
I'll give her a gold and say, "Oh wait, no. Do I have any gold? Where's my?
You got robbed.
You got robbed, dude.
I got robbed. I'm gonna
Yeah.
reach for my side and be like,
And
oh
I
shit.
will pay her.
All right.
And I will give Marza a smile, and I will cut my love sausage in half and give her half.
I think I had enough sausage in the hole.
All right, you're lost.
Anyone
I'll eat
else?
My God,
Wally.
that's really what they're called. I have oh my God, I have words. I have words. That's not important. You're the boss. Are you the owner?
Yeah, I was
Wait.
just about to talk to her too.
Yes, I am the owner, and I hope you really like my sausage. Make sure that you tell everybody that the Salty Dog Inn has the best sausage around.
I will.
Great spit roast too.
I will certainly do that. However, I'm here to investigate some happenings.
Yeah, I'll
That
show her
was-
I'll show her our badges and be like, "Hey, we're from the Flaming Fist, and we're here to actually help."
I'm simply working for the fists. Do not correlate me directly with them. But
And as you kind of show those badges, you can kind of see her countenance changes from being like really happy and giddy to, a little bit more serious. She says, "Oh, Flaming Fist members." She says, "Why aren't you doing enough to find out what's happening behind my inn?"
I'm on an investigation for the fists. I am not a fist member. Let us clarify that.
I'm gonna give
And
Igvis a raised eyebrow. He what now?
I
Not important.
but I'm simply here to start ascertaining what's going on. I'm here to help. So I just tell me what you know. Tell me what I can do for you.
Well, I suppose I'll tell you the same thing I've told the last 3 teams of Fist members that came by and, still haven't done anything for me. Yes, there are murders that are happening here behind my inn, it seems. Bodies are being dumped by the Sickle Man.
The sickle man. Well, before we get to that, you say multiple bodies, and they're behind the alley that wraps around this building, correct? Just to clarify.
Yes, the alley that wraps right behind this building. About 6 days ago, it started with Lawrence Ulin. He's been a resident of Norchapel for as long as anybody could remember. And, while I wasn't friends with Lawrence, I did know him. And, I know that he was a famous hell rider from Elturel centuries ago. But, his body 6 days ago was just found behind the inn. And since then, every day, a new body arises that just seemingly appears behind the inn.
Was he a customer of your inn?
Oh, a few
We'll start.
times, yes, of course.
Okay.
Oh,
And then-
Martha's gonna speak up. Were they all Hell Riders?
From what we can gather, no, not all of them were Hell Riders. I got some general information. That one was a Hell Rider, yes. That lines up with what we've been told by the other Flaming Fists.
All right.
Um,
Gonna give Kel kind of a concerned look.
who
Yeah,
found...
hear me?
Oh, go ahead.
Elias is just inciting her while she does this to see if she's lying. That's what the roll I did earlier was.
Okay. Also, you can change your thing to public roll, too. It looks like it's still set on private roll. But,
Yes, I'll change
yeah,
it.
I mean, your insight doesn't reveal anything abnormal at the moment.
And so, do you know who found the body? Was it you?
Well, he says, "I found Lawrence, yes, in the back alley, but the other bodies have been found by other residents. I mean, there are never really any eyewitnesses to what has happened. Just residents are talking about how these alleys are haunted, and they just see footsteps, but they never see anyone."
There's lots that can be going on there. when you found the body, what were you doing going back in that alley?
She says, I have a couple crates and barrels back there that I use for dry storage. In the back alley way, I don't have a lot of storage here in the inn. It's a rather modest establishment, and I was going towards the back, to grab some things from my wares, and that's when I noticed the body.
Okay. And approximately what time did you find the body?
Says, well, I woke up early in the morning at dawn, and I came down and did a couple other tidying things around, and then went back behind the inn. So somewhere around maybe 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. And to your knowledge, there's no entrance back there to any of the houses, your inn, nothing that would dictate some other usage for other people.
Not at all. It just seems that these bodies are appearing out of thin air, as if by magic.
Interesting. Well, what I can say for now is that I've collected what I need to. If anybody else has any questions, they'll ask you. We've been tasked with dealing with it. We'll probably be coming back here a lot, and I will have to order some of your food, maybe some ale, but just know that we're on your side, and we're only here to help.
All right, well, excuse my skepticism, given that you're the third contingent of Flaming Fists that have come by to try and solve this and have yet to been able to do anything about it. They barely come by anymore.
So they're still around. Yes.
You're talking about the Flaming Fist.
The Flaming Fist, yeah.
Yeah.
He says, they've come around a couple times in the early days, about a week ago of the murder, a couple other parties, and in the last, 4 days or so, I haven't seen any Flaming Fist around, except when they come to guide the mortarium in order to pick up the bodies and haul them off. But they don't seem to be doing much investigating around here.
Things have gotten strenuous from what I can gather. I've been away from the city a bit. My apologies. Now tell me about this sickle man. Actually, is this a rumor? Or is this something that you've heard people speak about?
Yes, everybody knows about the Sickle Man. The Sickle Man is a dark figure cloaked in purple, and he comes and goes in the middle of the night. He is a creature of magical prowess, and nobody really sees the Sickle Man, but we all see the effects of him.
And you said that there are footprints, but no bodies.
How do you know he's cloaked in purple if no one sees him?
Well,
Mars has been drinking.
There are rumors of people who have seen the Sickle Man. I'm Mad Morgaine, at least, is one of those who has seen the Sickle Man, apparently. I'm not sure that I trust Mad Morgaine, though. Her brain is a little addled, but...
Seems a bit in the title, that one. But going back to what you previously said, you said it seemed like there were footsteps, but no person there, and then the body would be there?
Right,
or that
exactly.
the body was... Okay. And you also said the bodies also magically transport there.
Well, how else would they get there?
Well, presumably they were either killed in the alley or...
Footsteps are heard, nothing is seen, and then just by happenstance bodies are there that weren't there before.
Well, like I said, we'll look into it. As well as these other Fist members who seem to be slacking on the job, but I have other suspicions. Could you bring me some form of ale? I have to think this over.
Yes, of course.
We've got a pitcher.
5 copper pieces, of course, for another pitcher of ale.
And I'll just give her a gold.
Okay. Oh my, thank you. Yes, Of course, I'll be right back. And she'll go back and she'll grab 2 more pitchers of ale, and she'll come bring them out and she'll put them on the table.
Vati, the philanthropist millionaire of Baldur's Gate.
I mean, but
You have so much money.
I know I do. But at the
And a
same
house?
listen, all right. I honestly, the reason I gave him a gold was not generosity. It was purely because I didn't want to do the math for a silver and a copper.
So he's at that point of money.
I can't be having copper around.
The calculations of how many copper isn't worth his time.
Well, she feels like she could use a little bit of extra money. Give what you can, man.
I have
Anyway,
a question
I'm
of
gonna
a
refill my
character.
mug. I'm not arguing.
What's up?
What time of day is it?
Yeah, it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon at this point.
Okay, so we'll
Prime
need
time.
beds for the night, maybe.
Yeah, so I mean, you have a couple hours until night falls and it gets dark, but
Okay.
yeah, eventually.
So, Vati, you seek to look into these murders.
Well, we got hired for it, but my problem with all of this is that very easily could footsteps appear. Somebody could cast a very easy invisibility spell and not think about it. The way that it's described, though, it seems like the victims walk into the alley themselves.
Like they animated.
How
the
often?
corpses.
Like, maybe that, or who's ever invisible cloaks both of them, then drops the body in the alley. Which, after going over the alley, anything immediately discerning. There's no back door that someone could wander out of, or a window that someone could fall out of. There's nothing. There's no two-way street. It's a one-way entrance into there. And it'd be
How often are the murders happening?
Hmm?
How often are the murders happening?
I believe the Flame said, I didn't jot that down. Was that like what, once a night or something? Or
Basically once a night. So there's been 6 in the last 6 days.
Well, are there any windows, rooms with windows facing the alley from the tavern?
there are windows back there, yes, but none of them are broken.
Well, maybe we could get a room back there.
That might be a possibility, but the best I can gather from what we might see is a body appear. And unless
At least we
can-
have that information, though.
That's true. But that would come at the cost of someone else's death.
Do you really think we're gonna find them before?
No.
I mean, we can investigate until nightfall, but I don't think we're going to find somebody.
I think it would be more likely if this is the dump site, if we want to save someone, maybe. Or maybe force a change. Have someone posted there. If nobody takes shift, I'll take shift back there.
Vati, what say you all of us? Whoever's doing this could be quite a bit stronger than any of us individually.
Well, the rest of you get rooms in the inn. You can that are facing back there. You'll be able to hear me. I think I can hold out for 5 minutes.
I'll stay with you if it's quite the same to you.
It's fine with me. You just keep
If
quiet.
we have too many, they might notice and change plans.
But if they change, then we'll know what their another location to possibly look. Because if the thing being is that if they're killing people, you don't want to drag that body everywhere. So, go ahead.
Out of game question, is anyone shorter than 5 foot?
I'm 3'2", my dude.
Yes.
So, just Marza or anyone else?
I think it's Marza and Honed, right? Are the short people?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
So, tell me, how are you two at hiding?
I'm just gonna look at you.
Did we not just travel all the way from Elturel together?
And he's more gesturing that at Igvis, but what he's going to do is he's going to
Honed, you mean?
yeah, Honed, and he's going to summon a barrel.
But again, the point of this we're not really trying to hide or catch them in the act because
You want to deter.
What?
You want to deter.
We want to deter and see if they have to dump a body, where else would they put it? Because if we can get that, maybe we can get a vague area of where the bodies are around. So then, after that, investigating.
But if we can watch them in the act. If they come with the body, we can just observe.
You said all these murders happened in the alleys in the back?
Well, the bodies were found in the back. It's not necessary that the murders were done in the back.
And you didn't find drag marks or anything back there?
No.
So if
Nothing.
if we can hide long enough to catch them in the act, we might be able to stop it.
But I can't confirm that the act happened in the alley. That's my current conundrum.
Even if we sit in the mouth of the alley, we're not going to deter another. We're not going to stop another death from occurring.
At this point, it'd be pretty hard to stop another death. I always dislike costing a life to get something done. That seems.
I don't propose we cost a life. Let us investigate now all that we can. But if we're not going to find any... But if we cannot solve these murders before nightfall, waiting in the alley might be our last shot.
So, where Igvis honed Craggle, what do you all make of this?
I think we should investigate, like, even like having a room like that faces the alley there was a good idea, just so we can hear something and maybe, I know we're not going to catch anybody, but we'll hear something, maybe have somebody down in the alley.
I could literally jump from the roof if I have to.
Yeah.
Do we know who the victims are?
We know 2 of the victims, and then there are 4. She just said the one name, the Hell Rider,
Lawrence?
and then there was another that I also didn't write down.
Lawrence was a Hell Rider. He was old. That's all I got out of that. I think he was the first.
Then the second one was also an old person, but he had been part of the chap, I think, if I recall correctly. And then the 4 other ones they haven't fully identified, but they're sitting at the mortarium right now, waiting to be investigated.
How far is that from here?
DM?
So you would know that it's inside the city.
Oh. Well, that's going to be inside the gates, which at the current moment only 3 of us can get in.
I propose you guys do that. The only thing we have to go off of right now is the victims. Establishing some sort of connection between them.
If you, Elias, and Marza and Kel want to investigate the alley, maybe try to see if there's... Because the barkeep said that the first victim was a regular a couple of times in here. See if maybe he talked to anyone that you guys can find.
Maybe I talk to the others who live against the alley.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. If you guys want to investigate that, while we make our way to the mortarium.
I want to talk to Mad Morgaine.
As do I.
But if you guys want to handle that, me, Honed, and Igvis can handle going to the mortarium, seeing if we can't deal with something with those bodies.
Yeah, I agree.
I would at least like to see the wounds on these bodies, if anything.
See if they maybe match other victims we come across the road.
Something to that effect.
Really quick, Kel, can you give me a intelligence check, history?
Cal.
2 seconds.
2.
Man, just so you know, I was looking up Dragonborn names to try and call you when we try and get you into the city because I couldn't call you Craggle. And
You said history, correct?
Yeah, history.
What'd you come up with?
I saw one called Kelter, which wasn't too bad.
It's like a Kelter, Cal and Kelter.
Kashtola? We'll just mix it up.
I just found Guchos, which I think is great.
We're calling you Guchos.
Yeah, did Guchos order us a love sausage?
Guchos' favorite meal is love sausage, baby.
Oh my fucking god.
Like, look at this list of names that it just randomly generated. It's ridiculous.
18 for.
I just sent you a couple messages, Cal. Just about information as that's going on that you know.
It occurred to me that that Kel is a Hell Rider, so that might have a relation to what.
I'll give Vadi kind of a nod. I think that's a good plan. We'll get some human intelligence here. You see if you can make a connection between the bodies. We'll kind of combine our leads and see where it goes.
Sounds good to me.
Good luck.
I'm going to get a room for the night that faces towards the alleyway.
Okay. So there are no rooms that face the alleyway. As you go upstairs, which you can go upstairs if you would like, there are a bunch of rooms, and you can kind of see where they're laid out. So kind of to the north as you go upstairs, like towards the top is where the alleyway is. It's kind of the same direction as the rest of the inn is facing. But you can kind of make your way upstairs and kind of wander throughout the halls to see where the different rooms are located.
Okay. Is there any windows in this hallway that goes out to like the alleyway?
There is one set of windows on the back, right there where you are honed.
Right there where I just clicked?
Yeah. You can't see on the map outside the window, but there is a window there.
Okay. Maybe get the room that's the first one that you come across. The one I just clicked.
Yeah. You could do that. So, I mean, you could pay for it, or Elias could grab it.
No, I'll pay for it, and I'll just give the key to whoever's staying behind.
Sounds good. So that'll be 1 gold piece for the night.
Okay, sounds good.
And I will unlock it for you so that you can actually enter that room, should you so wish.
And I'll give Elias the key for the room, and I'll meet up with everybody else that's heading off to the city.
I'll have my own room. Don't worry.
Well, I'll just give you the key for whoever else is staying behind.
All right, very well. I hope you find them in the city. We would like to save.
There are two types
I'll
of rich
take that
people.
key.
There's Vadi and Elias. You're taking the key?
I feel like Elias. Yeah, Elias hands it to Marza. I feel like Elias isn't so much rich as he just bums off of everyone.
And Marza, that room will be when you go up the stairs. It'll be the very first room on your left that you come across.
Okay.
All right. And so what is everybody else doing at the moment? So you've gotten your key, and then what was the game plan, if you can repeat for me?
The game plan was that Vati, Honed, and Igvis were going to go into the city to the Mortarium and investigate the bodies that they brought to the Mortarium. And then Kel, Marza, Craggle, and Elias, right? We're going to investigate around here in the meantime.
Okay. let's see, it's 10:30. I think this is a good spot maybe for a break. Let's just take like a quick 10-minute break, and then we'll come back and continue.
Yeah,
Sounds
sounds good.
All right, cool. See you all in a second. All right, we are back live on stream. All right, cool. So when we left off, Vati, Honed, and Igvis, I think you guys had wanted to go inside the city and find Candle Hollow's Mortarium, and the rest of you kind of wanted to do more investigating here in the outer city. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
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 All right, cool. So let's let's start with the rest of the outer city right now. So the rest of you, what did you want to be doing here in the outer city?
That's us in the alley, or
Yeah, the rest of you who are
Right.
not Vati, Honed, and Igvis. So the
Right.
others
Yeah, it
of you
seems
here in
like-
the alley, or wherever else you're trying to go or investigate.
I thought we were
So
going to go
Kel,
Kane.
Kel definitely wants to check the alleyway for magic. Any kind of portal magic or residual magic. He's going to cast detect magic.
Okay. So you do detect. So you use detect magic, and you don't detect the presence of magic in the alleyway.
I'm gonna start with just a physical inspection, just looking for drag marks, blood stains, any places to come and go besides where we just went,
Yeah.
windows, doors, etc.
Yeah,
Give
I'd like to make a point to be careful not to disturb any footprints that might already.
give me an
Right.
investigation check, Marza and Dolakesh.
16. Nice.
So the both of you kind of together looking for footprints. You do find two distinct pairs of footprints that seem to come and go from the alleyway. They look humanoid and of an average size, but they do seem to come and go from the alleyway in the back. So in the back, there really aren't too many footprints. You notice that there's a set of halfling, smaller footprints, which you take to be probably the halfling Gentha, because you know that she comes back here. But otherwise, you do see two other distinct humanoid footprints that seem to have frequented the alleyway, and they arrive in the alleyway from down below here where you guys came from, and then they leave through the same way.
Where do they turn about? Where about? And is there any like disturbance or what? Where does it seem they went to before they left?
Yeah, so I mean, the footprints look like they come into the alleyway. They come all the way back here, back by where the barrels are, and then they turn around and they come back this way and
Do
back
they seem-
out the alleyway.
Do they seem deeper coming in than going out?
You can't tell that necessarily.
Okay.
Is Elias there?
Yeah,
If
I
you
mean,
want to be, you could have
if you
followed
want to
us.
be.
Yeah.
If he's there, because you guys said that it's kind of like an L. Well, do you guys point this out to Elias?
Well, you can move your token there. We're in the alley behind the inn.
So, um, Elias probably would not recognize the footprints on his own. He is not a survivalist.
I think we would, because Marza specifically wanted to keep the area clear, and we were both looking, so we would have pointed them out to you so as to not disturb them.
Okay, so he's gonna walk around them because you said they went and kind of disappeared by barrels.
They turn around over here.
Okay.
By some barrels, yeah.
He's gonna look inside the barrels.
Okay. Yeah, you open up the barrels, and there are definitely some dry goods in there. Looks like you have some storage for blankets that are in the back there as well. Those kind of furnishings. So nothing that, nothing of note really.
I think this is a dead end. We just know what we know, which is that the bodies were left here, but I don't think that gives us anything new.
Could we see how long we could follow these tracks?
Once they go to the main street, good luck.
Yeah, what you know that they come in and out of the alleyway, but you can't really follow them. Like, you lose it at the edge of the street.
Okay.
How tall are these buildings, and do they have any windows facing this way?
They do not have any windows facing this way, and they are about 12 feet. 12 to 14 feet.
Any doors?
Nope. So it looks like you're at the back end of all of these houses.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Does the inn have any windows?
It seems like the inn has one window on this side, which is up on the second floor.
I'm gonna go check that out. You guys can continue RPing here for a bit, but Dolkesh would walk away into the inn.
Okay.
So, Kel, Marza, and Elias are there?
Yep.
So, I'm curious about talking to this Mad Morgaine. Perhaps she knows something. At the very least, I feel we should see what we can learn of this sickle man.
I think someone should go that way, but I think there are too many people to talk to for multiple people to go.
Indeed, but we also need to be careful when we aren't in the safest parts of town exactly.
I suppose so.
Kel's going to kind of offer protection for both you and Marza.
So, Marza, do you wish to travel with Kel or Craigle?
Whoever goes to Mad Morgaine, we should find out where everything is first.
Indeed.
We don't know where Mad Morgaine is or anything about her. We should find out more before deciding anything.
Quite so.
Okay.
So,
let's go ahead and shoot over to Vati Honed and Igvis. So Vati Honed Igvis, you guys head over to the Basilisk Gate. Unless you stop to talk to anybody, you're allowed through. You know that Candle Hollow's Mortarium is in Eastway, which is the first district that you come into when you get into Baldur's Gate. And actually, maybe I might even do this. So everybody can see that map, right? I believe I gave everybody the ability to see the whole map.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know that Candle Hollow's Mortarium is right here on the map where I'm pinging. So this is the Basilisk Gate down here, and the Mortarium is right up here. So just a couple blocks up, and I might even, let me I think I can create a map note here.
And we're like maybe just like out here a little ways, right? Not far.
So you're actually all the way in North Chapel, which is I can't ping because I'm making this. Give me a second.
Okay, you're fine.
That's my guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that looks pretty chapelish, and it's in the Nor.
It's in the north.
Let's see. What do I want to? I guess I'll keep a book. That's the thing. Hey, can everybody see that note that I put right here?
You have to go to the bookmarks button on the far left of your screen, and then you'll see it.
Then yes, when you go to bookmarks.
Okay. Cool.
Where's the bookmarks? I'm sorry. For
It's
All
like
the way
a
on the
little-
left, it's under
yeah.
token, and then measurement controls, and the bottom one is journal notes.
It's like a little flag-looking, bookmark-looking button. What do you see on the far left of your screen? Top left.
okay, so I've got token controls, measurement, journal notes, toggle notes
Journal
display.
notes.
Okay.
And then you'll see a box where he was pinging you earlier.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So I'll try to like maybe put some notes as you discover places, so to speak, on this map, because this map is always readily available to you. That you can always switch to at any time. But so this is Eastway, this district right inside the Basilisk Gate, and you make a right and you head north up a couple blocks, and you eventually come to Candle Hollow's Mortarium. And when you get there, there's a sign outside that says Candle Hollow's Mortarium, and as you enter, there is a dwarf in there who is behind the counter, and he has spectacles on.
Evening. I'm here with a couple of the faming Fliss to look into a few bodies that were brought here. String of murders.
Ah, I see. And who were you sent by?
We're sent here by Flame Saj. He asked us to investigate the bodies that were left outside the gate.
Yes, Flamesage, of course. All right. Well, my name is Dusty, so I will bring you to go see the bodies. Which bodies specifically, exactly? Just say again.
They should be body of 4 refugees. There was a string of murders behind the Salty Dog.
4 refugees. 4. Oh yes. Okay. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes. Follow me, and he'll go ahead and go through a back door and hold it open as he stares at you and beckons you to come follow.
I'm certainly following.
Yep.
Okay. So he goes through the door and he leads you down some stairs that end up going into a basement, which is pretty cold. It seems like it's kept pretty cold. And there are a series of various rooms down here, but he leads you to a back room. And in the back room, he opens the door, and there are a couple different stone cases that have bodies in them, and he kind of looks over a couple of them and says, "Yes, all right, refugees. All right. Well, which ones did you want to check on first? We seem to have 4 here."
Which one was the freshest that was brought in?
That would be yes, Lyndon, the older Lyndon brother, Pitt. Let me see. Yes, it would be this guy right here. And he'll point you towards a stone slab that he kind of pulls off, and you're able to see a body inside. We keep these bodies fresh with gentle repose, so that we can study them and figure out what's going on in case anybody comes by to investigate. So, please take a look for yourself.
And I'm assuming this is like this is just like a naked body, right? They've probably removed his clothes to do like an autopsy, or they just leave them on, or he's just being stored.
Correct. It's a naked body.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna look for any marks, cuts, any of that.
Yeah. So so the body that you're looking at specifically seems to have, as you're looking, I mean, you look over the body. Do you flip over the body and kind of like maneuver it, or are you just kind of glancing?
I do want to do like the flipping over the body and stuff, but what do I see immediately when I'm glancing?
Yeah. So immediately, what you see is younger human male, and his face seems to be contorted in kind of this look of terror. It seems like right on the outside there might be some burns that on the outside of his arm that kind of travel towards the back, and then as you, I presume, then flip the body to actually look towards his back, you would see that there are varying degrees of what look like acid burns all across his back, on the back of his head, his buttocks, his legs, his feet, and his arms. And on the front, one of the things you notice right away, I should have said, is that you notice that there's this carved symbol of a very familiar symbol of this horn, this broken animal horn on the front of his chest.
And you said familiar. It's the same one, right?
Yeah, it's the same one. Or it certainly looks like it.
That's what I was worried about.
Well, boys, I think what we saw on the road seems to have spread a bit.
Well,
What gets me is the acid burns, because the one that we found, right, was hung.
well, to be fair, there were two bodies, weren't there? Billiam's and Alyssa's husband. Did
Yeah,
they
but
both have the same mark on them?
I believe so. Yes.
So they had the same curled horn symbol carved into the chest, but they didn't have the acid burns.
Right. Yeah, that's all I meant, is that they all had the horn in them.
Make me either a medicine or nature check.
Both
You
of us, or
yeah, anybody who's there investigating the bodies, you can make me medicine and or nature. So you can make both or just one.
is this one of those situations, due to my character, that I would have advantage? Is it related to fiends or anything, or is it just flat nature?
Just a flat nature or medicine, not related
Okay.
to fiends.
Okay.
Both those 14s were almost 20s.
I'm very aware. I watched it and I was like, cry.
So Igvis, one of the things that you notice as you're looking over the bodies, it seems like the cause of death doesn't seem to be these acid burns. These acid burns seem to have been incurred before the time of death, but the actual cause of death seems to be two slashed wrists, which kind of run the length of the forearm.
So they were tortured and then executed, per se, with those slashes. Okay.
Are you gonna relay that information to me?
Well, let's get the rest of the information.
Yeah.
Probably.
All of you, Honed, Igvis, and Vati, all of you recognize that this acid, it seems to be some sort of acid enzyme that seems incredibly caustic, from its viscosity and coloration on the bottom of the stone. It looks like it you believe it's naturally occurring and possibly a means of attack or defense for a plant or an animal. And as you're kind of studying it, the Dusty kind of comes over and he says, "I managed to bottle some of the acid enzyme for further study," and he pulls out a little vial of green liquid, and as you look at that, you're pretty confident that this is the digestive enzyme of an ankh egg. An ankh egg. And the ankh egg acid is, you know that ankh egg acid in general, that they spray it in concentrated blasts, or it's excreted as part of a bite, but that's not consistent with these full body acid burns.
So
it looked like a larger volume than would normally happen, that kind of thing.
Yeah, not just a larger volume, but not the method of
Delivery.
right?
Okay.
Like when they spray their acid in these concentrated blasts, so you'd expect these very distinct marks, right, of acid, or within a bite wound of some sort. But you don't see bite wounds, and you don't see those concentrated blasts. It seems like it's all over their back.
Sort of like somebody had a bottle and threw it on them.
Or they laid in a pool, maybe.
Yeah.
they were laid in a pool. Which, I mean, if that's the case, then it seems that whoever did this was collecting enough of it.
Maybe there's some animal handlers in town that have ankh, that have these animals. How do you spell that, by the way? I apologize.
Yeah, I'll type it in chat.
Appreciate it.
Well, or is the poison something that, or poison, is the acid that be something that is sold in any capacity to adventurers, the military?
Yeah, give me an intelligence check history if you want at advantage.
Okay. Okay. 19.
So, especially being from Baldur's Gate, that ankh egg, acid or poison may be sold in back alleyways or something like that. It's definitely not something that's sold out in the open, except for one place that tends to deal with ankh eggs, which is Hamhawk Slaughterhouse, which is a slaughterhouse in the outer city in So's Foot, in the outer city. But they actually butcher ankh eggs, and they're the only place in the entire city that will do that. But besides that, specifically selling acid, no place that you know of does that unless it's done, in back alleyways or behind closed doors.
Well, it seems like if they were to get that acid, it'd either come from the butchery in the outer city, which lines up a little bit with some of the murders, I suppose, or this was very underhanded, which is another leaning. Faces contorted, fear. Pull out the next body.
All right. Right, so, okay, that was Pit Linden. Let's see, well, you just want to go back in time? Is that how you want to do this? The next most recent body, or just,
That would be preferable, yes.
All right, and, so the next one would be his brother, the younger brother, the Adrian Linden. Yes, it's this one right here. And he'll pull out another body, and this one is a younger human male, barely an adult, and again, naked, no clothes, just a body.
Oh, sorry. I do have one quick question about the previous body.
Yeah,
Based on my medicine check of the 19 or 17, I'm sorry, that carving was also post mortem, right after they had already died.
correct. You
Okay.
would know that too. Yes, and this body seems to have all the same signs. You look at this body; it has that same curved symbol on the chest. It has the acid marks along the back, the head, the arms, the legs, the buttocks, and it has the same slashed wrists along the arm, and all the same signs.
Okay. Same
And
as the first.
It's basically the exact same situation where the acid was done before death, wrists were cause of death, all of that.
Correct. Yeah, basically the exact same situation. And, to kind of, speed that along a little bit, the same as with the third and the fourth body. They all have the exact same situation. The next body is an Ina pole, and Ina has the same symptoms, and it's an older woman. And then the fourth body is a Cornelia Zedek, and just a teenage girl who has those same symptoms. And I will actually, just for your reference, post those names in chat too.
I've been trying to just randomly spell them, so based on sounding it out.
And do we know if any of these people had relations to each other other than the two brothers that were the latest victim, or the most recent victims?
Yeah, the only thing that and I mean, Dusty will tell you, will say that yes, they all seem to be members of that Elturian refugee camp outside. That's where they all seem to come from. The only familiar relation seems to be these Linden brothers. But otherwise, none of them seem to be residents, specifically of Baldur's Gate.
So these four aren't of Baldur's Gate, but the first two were.
Yes, the first two. What were their names again? Oh, yes. Mien Kaz and Lawrence Ulen. They came through here as well.
Did they happen to have the same symptoms, marks, that sort of thing?
They did, yes. Those bodies very similarly had all the same symptoms.
What do you think, Idvis Hone? What are your thoughts?
Has Igvis told us about the slit wrists?
Yeah, I would have told you
Okay.
after the second body, like, oh yeah, by the way, and then pointed that out to them.
What about the bodies that were found on the inner city? Were they killed the same way, or were they different?
Is that what you're asking him?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to ask him, just to have an idea. Maybe it's a local or if somebody else.
Yeah. Says no, the those ones that were killed here as the other part of murders were not killed in a similar fashion.
Do you have those bodies around, or?
I do have those bodies if you would like to check them out.
Yes, please.
Okay. And he will lead you out of this room after he puts the cap on the stone cases and sarcophaguses, and will lead you into another room where he has several other. And he'll say, yes, let me see here. And DM is loading as my information loads.
GM brain cell loading.
And we kind of had descriptions of all of them except for Ian.
Okay. And so he goes and he says, yes, the all right. Well, which one would you like to look at? There have been 6 other victims here in the inner city.
Let's go with the latest and greatest.
All right. So there is an Anika Silverleaf is here. Yes, I will pull this out, and she'll pull out and undo the sarcophagus lid, or the lid of the stone tablet, and inside you'll see a young elven woman. He says, so these bodies were found in Insight Park. That is where we pick them up from. And again, we're keeping them for a gentle repose right now so that we can investigate them further.
Yes, yes. So what do I see immediately on this body before I do anything?
So you noticed right away that all the bodies seem to have, or this body specifically, seems to have been sliced into with a sharp knife or a razor. Give me a medicine check. Give me another medicine and investigation, all of you, while you're looking at this.
Medicine or investigation, or just both?
Both, if you would like to make it.
Okay. Well, my medicine check sucked, but my investigation made up for it.
My medicine's okay.
If you look, my investigation, hella good. Medicine, yeah. I'm a weird detective.
I said
I'm a
investigation.
detective,
So
not a
looking
doctor.
at Vati, you notice that they've all been sliced into with this sharp knife or a razor, and there seems to be these grisly ritual carvings at the base of their spine, and there are 3 symbols in a roughly triangular pattern, which I will. I'm gonna send this to you in Discord, and I'll add it to add it later to Foundry. But there are symbols like that in a weirdly triangular pattern. You had a 24 investigation and a 2 medicine. Let's see, 12, 8, and 2 medicine checks. You also notice that Igvis, you specifically notice that there also seems to be another solution towards the bottom of I don't want to say casket, the bottom of the stone area. And it seems to be some sort of alkaline solution of wood, ash, and lime. You're not quite sure, though, what what it is exactly. Give me an Arcana check if you have it.
$14.
Hey, you're not sure exactly what this is. This solution. It just seems you just know it's of wood ash and lime, really.
Did
I would probably at
Ignis-
this point, if I'm not sure exactly what it is, I'd point it out to Vati and be like, "Hey, there's something at the bottom of this here," and have him check it too.
Yeah, and you can make me an Arcana check too, Vati. $18. So you, Vati, you know that this alchemical solution is often used in tanneries to rotten and like loosen the hair of hides. So that's what you know about this. Also, just with your Arcana, those runes that are on the back kind of the spine, they seem to be choral praises to dark gods, invoking their right of dominion over all the mortal planes. All cities shall fall to darkness. That which was foretold in the prophecies of blood is upon us. The spawn shall rise from mortal flesh. None shall live save for those who offer their kin unto the heirs of Jergal. That sort of thing. Although to the untrained eye, those symbols would appear to belong to some sort of arcane rite or spell, the arcane components are just nonsense. They don't really mean anything or do anything and seem to have been carved for effect rather than purpose on the back of the spine there.
Well, if I had to guess, this seems more like a copycat killer than it seems like the real one. See these, and I'm going to point it out to Igvis and Hone, like, these, it's nonsensical. It's almost like they're playing it up, right? They're pretending the dark gods are overall going to take over what zoned them, and then these here are used for, they loosen hair on hides. Probably some tanner. He still killed people. We need to look into that, but we can probably separate these two.
And give me a religion check, too. Vati, Igvis, or whoever is, as you're all looking at this body. Own, too, you can do it.
Keeping up with the fact I don't care for the gods.
Yeah, I mean, Vati, the other thing is, so, you saw those 3 symbols, right, in like that triangular pattern that I sent you. And around them were all these runes and stuff that were kind of those choral praises to the dark gods that I described. But the symbols themselves, the 3 symbols in the triangle, you notice that those are the holy symbols of Bane, Merkel, and Baal, who you recognize as the Dead Three.
I mean, I'm just gonna kind of point that out to both Hone and Igvis. Like, these are symbols of the Dead Three. Again, this seems like a nonsensical killing. This doesn't. It's almost staged to be a ritual killing. Maybe these people have seen the previous bodies, heard previous stories, and they just kind of did their own thing.
I'll ask the caretaker real quick. How many bodies were in the lower city compared to the outer city?
There were 6 each.
Yeah,
if I
6
recall.
each. So
There were 6 each.
Yeah,
and
there's
did they
6 bodies
start
here.
about the same time?
They did, he'll tell you.
How
So-
recent was the one that was on the inner city?
He says just yesterday.
So I wouldn't necessarily call it a copycat because they're happening simultaneously.
Yeah, but one seems like a distraction. You know what I mean? Like, these ones we know are dangerous. We've seen them, seen what they can do prior, and they seem more knowledgeable whatever they're invoking. This just seems... It seems nonsensical. Again, the chemical stuff being provided that you showed me wouldn't align with any sort of ritual. These runes kind of, again, are also kind of nonsensical. They are dark gods, they are, the dead three, but, it just doesn't add up. It's either a distraction or some form of copycat.
I would like to point out, if you remember the note that we had, we're literally hunting the cult of the dead three.
Oh, okay. Well. You guys are hunting the cult of the dead?
The note that we got from... I think it was from the Cult of the Dragon. It had a note to Resmir.
Yes.
The Cult of the Dead 3. So, it could be related. But
okay.
I feel like, based on your assumptions, that we do need to deal with the one outside, because they seem to be torturing people before murdering them, and it's already a cult that we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm. Well, and again, even if this will probably be related to the Cult of Dead 3, but I do think that they are separate instances. Like, I don't know that they're necessarily tied together, unless maybe there's something tying them that I'm not seeing, but...
And I'll just ask him real quick, just to skip past it. The other bodies in the lower city are relatively similar to this one. Same kind of symbols, same solutions, things of that nature.
Yes, the other bodies, if you go through the bodies, the other 5 bodies for the inner city, they all are very similar. The same symbols on the back, the same runes, and that same alchemical substance.
So 2 separate killers, one outer, one inner. Killing it simultaneously in relatively similar fashions.
It's a team.
Like Vadi was saying there, it could be just a distraction.
Or, if this is another cult, maybe it's 2 cults competing with one another. That's also very possible. But it just seems odd. If it is 2 separate entities doing the same thing at the exact same time, is there some significance to these days that I'm missing? I don't recall anything being significant about anything here except for, well, what is gone.
How long ago did El Terrell go away? Was it 10 days at this point?
At this point, it would have been, 10 days ago. You're still on the same day when you came into the city, which was day 10 of your travel. So I guess 11 days ago, because this was day 10 of your travel, and you started traveling the day after El Terrell disappeared.
Whatever it is, I think when we go back to the gate, we should at least inform Flame Zaj of this, and we'll take care of the outer city while if he can have more fists explore the lower city.
If anything, we can have them posted up with... If you can convince him. You said that you picked up all these bodies at the same area, correct, Dusty?
Yes, they were all picked up at the Insight Park.
Insight Park. You could have him stage a couple of men if he's got it at the Inside Park. If for nothing else, then so that... Maintain peace. Make it look like the Flaming Fists are investigating things, even if he can't fully dedicate a team to it.
Reassurances of the people. I gotcha.
Mm-hmm. While we take care of the outer city, hopefully that's enough to maybe convince him that we can allow the others in the inner city, and we can then dedicate time to the inner city killings.
Maybe we can get paid for both.
That might be nice. Well, Dusty, I think we've concluded with our work here. Thank you for your cooperation.
Yes, yes, very well. Give Flames Arch my regards.
Absolutely.
And he will
And I'm
lead
good.
you. He will seal these bodies back up. He will walk you back out the front door and back onto the streets of Baldur's Gate.
I will ask him if I can take the vial with us, the one that he had with the acid.
Yes, of course you can. Yes.
And he'll hand you the vial.
Okay.
All right, and then we're just going to stop by Flame Hodge and kind of give him the rundown of our plan.
Yep.
Yeah, just let him know what's going on. Yeah.
I can roleplay that with you if you want me to.
Yeah, I'm down to do that if DM is.
Yeah. So you go back to the Basilisk Gate, back out, and you go to talk to Flame Zodge. What do you say?
Hello, Flame Zodge. We are still conducting our investigation on the lower city and have found some parallels between the killings of the lower city as well as the outer city. It seems like the outer city killings are related to a cult we've been dealing with the entire time we were headed here with our caravan. And we think that the lower city ones are some sort of copycat or distraction from the real one on the outer city. I'll start there.
Right, so what makes you think that?
Well, after not to step in, Igvis, but after Igvis showed me a couple of, he noticed a couple of things that would seemingly be used in a ritual, and I went over my knowledge of different magics. The runes and stuff carved in the bodies from the lower city were that of the Dead 3 cult. But they didn't align with anything ritualistic. None of the material was there, and the material provided that was there is nonsensical. It's generally used to remove hairs off of hides, that sort of thing. What I recommend, if you can, if you've got the people, post 1 or 2 guards at Inside Park where the bodies are showing up. Helps keep people calm, know that you guys are looking into it, but also maybe they might be able to catch something.
Right, well, we're still a little short-handed. We do have fists who patrol the area of Insight Park, but at this point I can't afford to send more people here, especially from the Basilisk Gate, to go patrol that section of the city.
Is there another flame who might be able to spare just a couple of men? Because we're going to take care of the outer city, but we can't be in both places at once.
Right, well, Insight Park is in Lower Brampton, so I'm sure you're familiar with Flame Faust.
And you would be familiar, as that would be part of your reporting structure.
Yeah.
Flame Faust is in charge of the Brampton district, and I'm sure Flame Faust that she has plenty of men that patrol that section of the city.
Understood. I can go talk to Flame Faust in regards to this then.
Well, me and
I was going to say, and you would know, Igvis, that, and Honed, you would know this too, that Flame Faust is, she is lazy, I guess is the word that I want to describe. It's more so she has her position and title, and she doesn't really she wants to do as little work as possible and be able to get away with as little work as possible in the course of her duties. You know that she is a pretty stern woman, and she is not known for being very kind.
So in other words, when I tell him I'll go talk to Flame Faust, I'm actually saying, I'll talk to Flame Faust.
If you two want to, Igvis, honed, if you want to go talk to Flame Faust, maybe set up a patrol there. I can go tell the others what we found.
Yeah, I can do that. And,
Yeah, that sounds fine.
And by the way, and I'll hand you in the play-by post, I'll hand you back your letter, and just say, when we finish, you can probably give that to Flame Zodge. Just a thought.
We'll see. We'll see. Thank you, my friend.
Hone, do you want to come with me to go talk to Flame Faust?
Yeah, I'll go with you.
Okay.
So I'll.
So now we're splitting up again. We're gonna have a party of 2, and then everybody else.
We're dwindling forces on the lower city.
So
I like to call it restructuring. Calm down.
So you know that Flame Faust specifically most likely is going to be at the Sea Tower of Baldurin. There's not really a Flaming Fist office per se in Brampton. Brampton is probably the poorest district of the lower city. It looks more like the outer city than it does the inner city. And the Flaming Fist don't really have an office in Brampton. And Flame Faust is not one to patrol the streets herself. And the Sea Tower of Baldurin is basically the Flaming Fist headquarters in Baldur's Gate. It serves as like a prison / the Flaming Fist headquarters / an outlook or outpost guarding the harbor. Because it exists on this little island that can be accessed by a narrow bridge between it and the rest of the mainland down here. Which, while I'm here, I'll just create that there. You also know, here, just create that. Boom. So you should all be able to see that. So that's on all the way on the other side of the city. You also know that it is pretty late at this point. So, I mean, now you're talking, it's probably around 6 o'clock. You don't think that it's going to be easy to get an audience with Flame Faust at this time of the day. You'd probably be better off waiting until early the next morning. But you could certainly try.
If I can maybe save somebody, I'm gonna try.
Okay. So let's... and Vati, what are you doing at this time?
I'm heading back to the other troop to kind of inform them what we figured out.
Okay. So let's take a second to... Well, let me say this. Everybody else besides Igvis and Honed, was there anything else you wanted to do in the outer city during this time?
No, well, I guess we were going up to the second floor. Yeah, actually, sorry. We were going up to the second floor with the door with the window.
Yeah, we were doing that, and then we talk to the innkeeper about, like, the people around and Mad Morgane.
Okay.
See who we could talk to.
So let's go ahead and go back to this this map. So as you kind of go upstairs, there is a window. I'm going to ping it right here. You can't see out of it on the map physically right there. But there is a window right there. This room over here is the one that you have the key to, Marza.
Yeah, I opened that up so everybody else could have access to that.
This window, does it just open? Is it latched in any way?
Yeah, so the window itself doesn't open. Like, it doesn't have, like, any shutters that open out or anything like that. But there is a curtain kind of on the inside of the window that you can pull aside, and you can look through the panes towards the outside, and below, down below, you can see the alleyway.
Where am I relative to where the footprints do a turnaround?
You are pretty close, maybe 10, 15 feet to your left is where the barrels and crates are. And it's
Okay.
basically right below you is kind of where those footprints come in and then turn around.
Can I see the surface of the rooftops of the opposite buildings, or is it like they're at a higher angle than I am still?
You can see them.
Okay, cool. This is a good spot if we want to stake this place out.
We can take turns later tonight.
For sure. Other than that, like, if you wanted to talk to her, then go for it, but I think I'm good.
All right. So, Marza, you wanted to talk to Gentha?
Yeah, ask her a little bit about the people in the area.
Yeah, so what do you say to her?
So I'll walk up. Hey again. Thank you for the food earlier. I really appreciated that. It's been a while since I've had something actually cooked that wasn't on the road. I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit more about the people in the area. You know, neighbors. And maybe a little bit about Mad Morgaine.
Yeah, of course. I mean, what do you want to know specifically about the neighbors?
If you could just, I don't know, tell me a little bit about each of the people who live along the alley that you share with them.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, I can go through and tell you who lives here. So at this house right down here to the right against the road here, Bryce lives there. Bryce Hall. So he's an older gentleman. He's been here for quite some time. He was here before I even established this inn, and he pretty much keeps to himself, Bryce, and doesn't really bother anyone. I rarely see him, but occasionally he'll stop in and say hello to me. And then you have Quincy, who's in the house right above him, and Quincy lives there with his wife Ari, and they're newlyweds. They just got married last year, so they're quite new to the area. I don't know too much about Quincy and Ari, and then you have Hugh, of course, who's in the house above them. Hugh doesn't really get along with Quincy and Ari because they're a little bit noisy from what I've heard from Hugh, but he's been there for a couple years now, in that home. He's a little bit of a nasty middle-aged gentleman, so I wouldn't put too much stock in what he has to say about Quincy and Ari. The others that live right behind the tavern, I'm not quite familiar with the rest of them. I think there's a Harry and an Ernesto that live back there. But otherwise, I'm not too familiar with those who live in the back of in the houses directly behind the inn.
That's very helpful, thank you. And then I know this might seem silly, but could you tell me a little bit about Mad Morgaine and where I might find her?
Yes, well, Mad Morgaine, bless her heart, she comes every morning and I feed her a free breakfast. She's a halfling woman. She wears little better than filthy rags, and she has mismatched, oversized clothes usually. And this, you can't miss her. This crazy look she has about her. One of her eyes was ruined as a young woman working on a farm outside the city when an Ankh spat acid at her. But despite her madness, she's actually rather quite pleasant. I think more than anything, she probably misses talking to people and hearing about what's going on in the world. So I give her free breakfast here at the Salty Dog Inn. In the mornings, and the rest of the time, she really just wanders the outer city districts. Something about pheasants. She's really obsessed with dead pheasants for some reason.
Okay. It's good of you to take care of her like that. I know that people can be harsh once they've made a judgment. Thank you so much for telling me this. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Sorry, you might have told us, but who was it that saw the cloaked figure dressed in purple?
That's Mad Morgaine.
Okay, right, gotcha.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm writing things down real quick.
Yeah.
So I'll relay that information to the others who weren't right up close.
Okay.
If anybody didn't hear that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only lead we got, but we might as well see what the others have found.
Okay.
Yeah, I imagine that wouldn't have taken a full 2 hours or so like theirs did, but it would probably take us about that long to find Mad Morgaine if we went looking for her.
Yeah, and I mean, she tells you, Genta, that she wanders the outer cities, and there's a lot of districts in the outer city. So it'd be like finding a needle in a haystack.
So that's best to wait. She comes here every morning.
She does. She comes
for a
there
free
every
breakfast.
morning
So we'll
for
see her
free
then.
breakfast.
Okay.
But yeah, it wouldn't take you 2 hours to go through what you're doing right now. So you would have that as kind of downtime unless there's anything else you wanted to do in the next 2 hours, or if you're just kind of waiting for the rest of everybody else to come back.
I mean, we could probably pretty easily talk to a couple of the people along the street or along the alleyway.
Would she mind if I took a look in the back? I'll even ask her. Do you mind if I take a look in the back of the building?
Oh, well, by all means, of course.
Oh, it's locked.
Oh, you mean inside?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. I can unlock that for you.
What am I looking at?
So as you enter, it looks like just a storage room. So you see some open crates with food. You see a couple barrels of ale in the back there, and she'll point out some stuff, that these are her wares and some of the different food crates that she has over here. Otherwise, it's pretty sparse, though. It doesn't seem like she has a lot of wares in the back here.
Okay. And
Says, yes, it's not as full as I would like it to be, of course. It's been a little hard here.
Well, the food you did make was delicious, so you're doing well for yourself.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Elias is vaguely curious what kind of meat she uses.
You're really quiet.
Elias is gonna check out what kind of meat she uses in the sausages.
Yeah. I mean, she'll tell you that it's pig.
It's fantastic pig.
Well, thank you, Elias. I really appreciate that.
And this is just a standard kitchen?
Yeah, it's a standard kitchen. Nothing really is of note of the kitchen. There's a fireplace where she cooks, a couple benches that have some knives and food on it where she can cut and prepare meals and food, and then a couple casks as well along the back wall.
So I'm going to kind of just sit there and think for a bit, and then I'm going to turn to her. Can you think of any reason why they keep dropping the body behind your inn?
No, I have no idea whatsoever why they would choose my inn, why they would target my inn.
Can I insight check, please?
Sure.
16.
Yeah, she seems genuinely confused.
So my 24 also seems genuinely confused?
Yep.
Did you have any patrons that acted oddly, or any events that seemed out of the ordinary leading up to or during, besides the bodies, obviously?
It's not that I can think of. I haven't had any patrons in the last couple days. You're the first customers I've had in 4 or 5 days now. But, you know, I can't think of any patrons that, specifically were out of the ordinary. Obviously, Mad Morgaine is Mad Morgaine, but, nobody else really stood out to me.
The first victim, Lorenz, was a regular.
Well, no, I didn't know him well. He was a resident here of Norchapel, so he had been by a couple of times.
What did he like to do or talk about, or what kind of ale did he drink?
Right, well, the same ale that you drank. He was a real big fan of, obviously, my sausage. Real sausage man. He really loved the dry rubbed meat, specifically. Otherwise, Lawrence liked to talk about his exploits as a hell rider. He used to talk about he was a famous hell rider, apparently, and he had talked about slaying many, many monsters in his time as a hell rider, and apparently he was part of some famous charge. I don't remember anything about the story specifically, but there was some sort of famous charge that he was part of, and he was just a pleasant fella.
I'm curious. Are you aware of what happened to El Terrell?
Well, I mean, we've all heard rumors of everything that's happened, and of course, they have all the refugees that are there now. I heard that there's some sort of civil war occurring in El Terrell, that, forces from Fort Tamal, to the north of the city were led by some sort of dark rider, perhaps a knight from beyond the grave, and they have besieged the city of El Terrell.
I'm going to raise my hand, and that's really nice, but that happened about 10 days ago. Did Lorenz happen to behave differently in the 4 days after that, before his death?
No. I mean, I don't think I had seen him in a couple days, so, but, I mean, the last time I saw him was maybe 10 or 11 days ago, and, I mean, he didn't seem peculiar at all in any way.
I'm going to look to the rest and shrug. I got nothing.
Are there any particular religious practices around here, or is it kind of just bag?
I say that again, you broke up just a little bit at the end there.
Are there any particular religious practices around here, or is it...
Broke
You
up
cut out again, but I'm pretty sure she's asking, is there a prominent religion, or is it kind of a mix of a bunch of people? There are a bunch of different practices.
Yeah, so she says, well, as you know, in Baldur's Gate, there's no religion that's directly outlawed in the city or outside of the city. I mean, here outside of the city, all kinds of religions are practiced, and gods and are worshipped. Even, those less desirable gods and more evil gods are still technically legal to worship in Baldur's Gate, as long as you don't break any specific laws.
Is there anybody that you know of that might have some out there religious practice?
Anybody that might have some out there religious practices? Is that what you said?
Yeah, sorry, am I still cutting out?
Just a little bit.
Randomly.
But says, well, I mean, I know that there's a Jarek Whitehall. He I believe he lives over in Stony Eyes, but I've heard that he worships some dark gods. I just try to stay away from him.
Would I have been familiar with this person personally?
No, you wouldn't be familiar with this person.
All right, well, thank you. I really appreciate you telling us all of this. I know that talking too much can be dangerous, especially in places like this, but I really appreciate it. You might help some people.
Yes, of course. I mean, you did promise to solve what is happening here, so, any information I can give to help with that.
And then do we want to kind of just
I guess,
wait for the others?
If we're just anticipating them coming back, then we just chill here and eat and drink, yeah.
All right. Sounds good. And she says, the four of you, would you like to split a spit roast?
Why not? I'm not paying.
Obviously.
Correction, you can't pay.
Yeah, Elias is gonna flip her a coin for the spit roast.
Okay. And says, awesome, perfect. I'll cook that right up for you. And she'll come in the back kitchen here and start cooking. And she'll come back out, and it looks like a gigantic platter that she brings out, which basically has sausage on a kebab and sausage kebabs, and there's just a whole bunch of them on this gigantic platter. Plenty for the rest of you to eat and actually feel full.
So, of all the things you could have cooked, how did you find your passion for sausages?
Well, I just kind of fell into it. The salty dog inn, and I used to make people used to make fun of me for the name that I picked, the Salty Dog Inn, and they used to make fun of me and call me a little wiener dog, and I decided to roll with it, and I thought, what better way to roll with the wiener or sausage theme than to cook up some sausage.
Take back the slur. Way to go, girl.
Reclaim that shit.
All right.
I'm curious, do any of you guys play chess?
But like it out of character or in character?
No, in character.
Okay.
Also, yes, out of character. You can DM me. I play chess in real life, but
I don't think Elias has any gaming proficiencies.
I'm down to learn.
Honestly.
I'm gonna go find a chess set, and I'm just gonna peek out the door and see if there's a game store, like a place that would sell a dragon chess set.
I'm also
could always ask Genta.
You could absolutely find a place that sells a dragon chess set here in North Chapel.
Oh wait, I'm gonna look at Marza, but I'm broke.
Well, that seems like a you problem.
Yeah, shit. I'm gonna kick the sand. I'll go back in.
How much is a dragon chess set?
I don't know. You can probably get a cheap one, but who wants a cheap dragon chess set?
It's for you.
It's one gold piece if you want just a normal.
Yeah,
Sorry, bud. Maybe you better go out and find yourself a sugar daddy.
I have
So
one.
you can use the time.
There you go. Elias is going to hand you a gold piece.
Dope. And he's gonna run out the door like a child.
There's your allowance for the week.
Kel has a 3-dragon Annie set already.
And I'm gonna go buy a dragon chess set.
Awesome. And
y'all are out looking at a bunch of dead bodies, looking at cult symbols, and we're like, "Yay, chess!"
You can add a dragon chess set to your character sheet.
Dope. I'm ruling this slightly on the fact that I had 4 massive beers, so I'm just ADD as fuck.
Yeah, that's the reason.
So okay, we're gonna move back over to you, Igvis and Honed. So you make your way
across the city, and you make your way past the Steeps and into Bloom Ridge, which is the district over to the left where the sea tower of Baldur actually is, on that side of the city. And the sea tower itself is, as I mentioned, the headquarters of the Flaming Fist, and it stands on that rocky island in the, or I should say, islet in the harbor. It has sheer walls, and they erupt from stone in such a way to kind of grant invaders from the sea very few footholds. There are 5 large, stout towers, specially made of Gondan trebuchets, and they stand ready to hurl stones, up to 3 times the distance of an ordinary siege weapon. It's placed in such a position that it not only has a view of the whole harbor, but a very clear look at the opposite bank, and those trebuchets can reach the opposite bank. Any kind of invading ships that would come by would have to deal with also this massive chain that the sea tower has that can run across the harbor, basically to be pulled up and block any ships from moving into the harbor or downriver, as it also has another chain that is able to reach across the entire width of the Cheonthar River here. There's about 100 Flaming Fist soldiers that occupy the fortress at any given time, along with residents of the officers' tower, which is where you expect Flame Faust to be. There's also a vast armory within there, and in the lower levels, there is a dungeon, where it also serves as the prison for the lower city, basically. So as you come up to the sea tower, at this point, given that it's a little after 6 o'clock, you know that the sea tower in general is closed off. That they basically seal the gates, and all those who Flaming Fist who actually reside within the tower have already come into the tower and are basically setting up shifts for the night, or making bed, or taking their shifts at the jail. And those Flaming Fist members who don't reside within the tower would be relegated to their posts within the rest of the lower city, or their own personal residences that they have, etc.
Awesome. So I would assume then that there's just a guard outside.
Yeah, there's quite a few guards. So there's a few guards that are basically patrol the top towers here. So there's like these 2 towers. I don't know why it's not pinging. There we go. There are these 2 towers basically right here on this side that are on the side of that thin bridge that moves across towards the islet, and a couple of them patrol the top of that.
Okay. So I would like to approach one of the guards and just let them know, hey, I come here by order of Flame. Sorry, I just lost it.
Zodge.
Flame Zodge from the Basilisk Gate. I need to go talk to Flame Faust, please, just for a few minutes.
Right, and what's your name?
I am, and then I'll give him my badge. Fist known as Ignis.
Yeah, and you kind of just point your badge up because they're on top of the tower, kind of looking down. And they say, right, well, I'll go inform Flame Faust that you're here and see if she wants to speak with you.
Please specify that I come on orders from Flame Zodge.
Right, I'll make sure to do that.
And the guy you'll see him go down some stairs apparently on the back, and you kind of lose sight. And after a while, after about 15 minutes or so,
he comes back and he says, Flame Faust is indisposed right now, and she gives Flame Zodge her regards, but says to come back another time, maybe tomorrow, and she'll be willing to speak with you.
All I need to do, if you can just let her know one last time, is adjust the patrol routes of 2 guards in the lower city to stay by Insight Park tonight. If I can just get a letter from her, and I'll go deliver it myself if I have to.
Right, I'll make sure to let her know that.
Now, please.
And he'll say, right, I'll get to that when I get to that.
I'll just look at Honed. Any ideas?
Well, obviously they don't want us deal with us tonight. And I know... How about we just go to Insight Park? Since nobody else wants to deal with it.
I don't want to split us up the way that we already have been. I think we should all at least be together when we're dealing with the murder outside the walls.
Okay. Well, come back tomorrow, I guess, and try to get to see Flame Faust.
1 second, and I'll look back up at the guard again, and I'll like fly up to approach him a little bit, not like in a menacing way, but just like so he can hear me better, and just let him know. So, we think there's going to be a murder that's been happening the last few nights. She should be aware of, and the bodies have been dropped at Insight Park. All we want is for guards posted there.
And as you fly up, I mean, you can denote this guy's rank too. So you're talking to a gauntlet, and he says, "Oh yeah, right. No, get back down. Get back down. You're not allowed over the walls at this time of night. You know that, Fist. I told you I will let her know. I said I would let Flame Faust know what you had to say."
Just know your inaction may cause a life tonight. And I'll float back down.
Well, thus is a normal day in the City of Blood.
I forget how difficult the Fist is sometimes. I'll just mutter to Honed.
Well,
alright. I guess we did what we could.
Yeah.
I hate everything about them right now.
Try again tomorrow, I guess, or some other day.
We might just deal with it ourselves tomorrow.
That's true. Alright, I guess we'll head back to everybody else and see what's going on.
We tried. And yeah, I guess we'll just head out then.
Okay. So you do that.
And I can see Marza and Dolakesh are currently playing chess, would be my guess.
Wait, did they beat me there?
No, they've been doing some privately rolled dice, so I'm assuming they're playing against each other.
Yeah, no, I just mean, like, are you guys gonna end up beating me?
Nah, you're definitely gonna beat us there.
I'll just be like, chess? Really? Right now?
You guys took too long.
We were investigating dead bodies. Did you guys turn up anything?
They're not going anywhere. No, not really.
Weren't we?
Are there people's names?
Also, there's a window upstairs that makes a really great lookout for the alley.
I can't move my token for some reason.
Yeah, we'll assign watches for tonight or something.
Did you reselect your token after clicking the bookmark?
Hello, Vati. Did you learn anything? Elias,
I did.
Elias is also going to like awkwardly lean on your shoulder.
Elias, a couple of things. Yes, but please don't touch me. Last thing I need is you stealing from me.
It was Charles?
Yeah, he had to go. He had a personal matter he had to take care of. He just messaged me.
Okay.
No worries. Hope it's okay.
Come, Vati. Do you honestly think I'd steal from you?
There's lots of things I think of you, Elias. There's a list. We'll get to it.
Just remember, always assume the worst.
I am. So a couple of things. Seems like there were the bodies in the inner city, and then from there, I'm just kind of just for the sake of time, just like give them everything that we've heard. or heard, seen, or everything that I managed to see with the dead bodies.
Sounds good.
And yeah, I think seems that we're dealing with the same people that killed Alyssa's husband, and or well, father person. Anyway, regardless,
It was Alyssa's husband.
It was her husband.
Husband.
Okay,
And Billiam.
and Billiam. Seems those people were dispatched by the same people killing the people in the outer city.
I
You
mean, we
understand?
have mass murders and our only wears robes, so I feel like cultists was a pretty solid option.
So here's the distinction, though, that there's cultists that are doing certain things on the more inner city, but they seem to be different in some capacity to the bodies in the outer city here.
I mean,
Maybe they're meant for different parts of something.
Maybe
They have different uses.
we were thinking that it was either some sort of copycat, or maybe the cults were competing, or some sort of distraction.
wait, did you get different? What were the like indications that it was two different cults?
Well, there was the typical curved horn sigil that I saw in the bodies along the way, and then there was what looked like to be markings of the three dead gods, or the three dead ones. But specifically on those bodies, there were things that were almost used to like pretend that it was a part of a ritual. It was things generally used to remove hair from hides. It didn't make sense to be in a ritual.
Do you have it?
We didn't take it from the bodies, no.
So these are like things meant for tanning
Yeah,
leather?
they're generally meant for tanning and or removing.
Did they want to
Well, none of their hair was removed.
I
Nor
mean,
was- nor was there-
it's not unusual for rituals, occultic rituals, to require very strange material.
Just based on the amount of rituals that I know of, that wouldn't seem to have any magical effects. Also, on the ones from the outer city, there were acid burns that were. Those didn't make sense, but it was a collection of. I don't remember how to say that. It was a collection from a secretion from an animal, normally in concentrated bursts. The bodies didn't show any bites and or concentrated bursts of that acid, almost like they were laying down or like tortured in that acid. And again, the curved horn was given onto them post death.
Were they all damaged by the acid in the same way?
Yes. The six bodies from the outer city were.
And which way was that?
Their back all the way down to their butts, back their arms, it twisted around. There's not much burning on the front. Like I said, either they were laying down or were shot in the acid in the back or poured down their backs.
And in fact, there's no burning on the front, to be specific.
Okay. And there was absolutely no burning on the front.
It's almost like a distinct line of where the burns stop.
Yes. And again, the ones in the inner city, they had these runes and so forth carved down their carved in their spines. There wasn't any acid burns. It was very different. There was also the cause of death seemed to be at least on the outer city bodies, wrists. Their wrists were slit open. Maybe some sort of draining of blood, or
Sean, are you trying to say something?
So, at the very least, they were different rituals.
Or different stages of a larger ritual. Or, as Vadi said, copycats, but the timeline seems way too small for that, if you ask me.
Well, I also posited that it might be two cults simultaneously doing something because these days mark an importance. I mean, we did just have you know what disappear.
I mean, I'm not convinced we know it's two different cults. We saw this symbol of the horn at Fort Morning Lord. We were investigating the Cult of the Dead 3. Well, no, we were investigating Cult of the Dragon, but we ended up finding Cult of the Dead 3, sacrificing them. We haven't seen those two interact, as far as I know.
But if it was so, in theory, if it was the same cult, why not show these carvings elsewhere?
What if it's retaliation by the dragon cult? Because you said that the dragon cultists were being sacrificed by the cult of the dead.
Sorry, repeat that. You have an echo.
You said that the dragon cultists were being sacrificed by the cult of the dead?
The Dead 3, yeah.
The Dead 3?
Or the Cult of the 3.
Maybe it's retaliation of the dragon cult against the Cult of the Dead 3.
It could be, but when we were going to the blacksmith, this is out of character, when we were going to the blacksmith and we went down to the basement and we happened upon the ritual where the lesser demon or lesser devil was summoned, did we get any symbols of either cult from that? Did we see either the horn or the Cult of the 3 there?
No.
So they don't always have their calling cards.
So, if we're considering retribution, we could investigate the victims and see if any of them were involved in cults.
This is true, but
we're running out of time.
Yeah. What for now? I had Igvis and Hound talk to Faust, I guess, that runs the district.
Faust, yeah.
Yeah. That to set up an extra patrol. Gives the flaming fist.
He's not gonna do it.
And at this point, as well, Honed and Igvis, you guys would be arriving back.
All right, who's winning the chess match?
I was literally about to ask that.
My God.
I got an 8.
I got a 19.
Fuck. That makes it even funnier that I didn't know if I was winning or not. I mean, that is an in-character thing.
So just as Igvis and Hone walked in, I'll move a piece and go checkmate.
And Mars is like got so much confidence. Like, what does that one mean?
Means I win, but it was a good game.
I'll give you 5 gold.
Sweet.
And by the time you
time wisely.
And by the time you get back, it is dark. The sun has set.
She can't afford to keep the lights on. No flint and steel for her.
Really missing Devil's Sight right now.
How many of us can actually see? I think it's just about everybody except for Dolikash, right?
Well, now I can see. He gave us light.
I think I have dark vision. I think
I do have dark vision. I was just curious who else couldn't
Elias
see.
is very human.
So you also can see. Okay.
Yeah, I do have dark vision. Okay.
I'll just walk in and
I'll
look
take
to.
the dark vision for now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just walk in and look at Dolikash. I'll take bets as to whether or not Flame Faust did anything.
Well, I already spilled the juice on that one, but
I'm sorry that our efforts might be in vain on that particular route. I'm trying to make sure the Flaming Fists don't seem like they're not doing anything.
So I do believe we are staying here, and we do have a window with a view of the alley at least, so we can take shifts on the window watch, essentially.
We have 4 beds.
I can sleep outside for now. I'll sleep in the alley.
In the alley might be I think that might be a little too dangerous.
I mean, you'll hear if I'm yelling.
We don't know what we're messing with.
We'll just take shifts of 2 and put you in a bedroll on the floor. Like, it's fine.
Bati, I'm sure I can get a room. Are you
We can
sure?
have, we can have, yeah, we have 2 people per shift, 4 people in beds, and we're good to go.
We'll have one person.
It's still leaves one.
We'll have a bedroll.
Yeah, bedroll.
That's fine.
Yeah.
How many rooms does the inn have?
We have 4 beds.
There are 6 rooms specifically in the inn. If you
And
go
what
upstairs
bed
and just
per-
check them out, and they're of different sizes. So the one that specifically honed bot that Marza has the keys to and everything is the largest room, it seems, which has 4 beds in it. And then there's a couple single bed rooms, there's some double bedrooms, and there's a triple bedroom.
Elias also has a room, though, right?
Yeah, so you would have one of the single bed rooms.
I'm actually going to, not that I believe that anyone would show up. I'm going to buy out the rest of the rooms for the evening.
Okay.
Jesus, show off.
You buy out the rest of the rooms, and Gentha's very, very grateful as I unlock all of the doors to all the other rooms.
What? How much gold is that going to cost me? It's 1 per each, right?
Correct. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more gold.
Okay. Sweet.
You know that technically, because of your decision, Elias is now playing a booked-out inn that was completely vacant a week ago.
And sorry, I'm going to say 4 gold, not 5 gold, because one of them's already taken by Elias.
I'm going to give her the 5 gold and
Okay.
just pretend it was a mistake.
All right.
How many of these rooms actually have like vision of the alley outside?
There's a window up here where Mars is.
Yeah, none of them have vision specifically of the alley, but there is a window here outside
Right here.
of this
Okay.
hallway, yeah, that I'm pinging, that has vision of the alley.
So if you guys are gonna take the rooms, take the one immediately here and the one here, so you guys can get here as quickly as possible. If something happens.
I'll take the one. I'll be one of the beds over in the smaller room over here. But yeah, this way I make sure that no one else can be in this inn. This will be just our base for a while, I guess.
I'll take first watch and then just take the bed whoever I wake up, I guess.
I'll probably volunteer first watch.
Elias is probably going to volunteer second watch.
I'll take third.
I'll take the last watch probably.
Are we trying to have 2 a watch though?
Well, we have 1 for so far of each, but now we can get the number 2 of each, or whichever ones we need.
So to have 2 on all 4, we would need 1 person. Right?
And no one's an elf. But no, we can have 1 watch with only 1 person.
Probably
Probably
the
the
last
first
one.
watch.
Oh, the first one?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think
First
I
or
can watch
last?
alone. I
Wait,
think I
is
can watch
Elias eligible for a watch given he doesn't have dark vision?
To be fair, neither does Dolakesh. Just pair up with somebody who does have dark vision.
alone. I mean, there are no other windows, so that's a dark alley, ain't it?
Correct.
Well, that changes things. So yeah, the loner needs to be someone with dark vision for sure.
Yeah.
I'll just take 2.
I was gonna say, well, I'll just take the
Should be
first
fine.
watch if Dolakesh wants to take one of the later ones. It's fine.
And then I think it was Elias that said second,
Yes.
and then someone with dark vision
I'm
should go
third.
with him.
I'll do second and third.
I can do second or third. It don't matter.
You have dark vision, right, Honed?
You betcha.
Okay. So how about Marza, you take third solo, and I'll take
Okay.
fourth, and then Honed, you help Elias. Cool?
Sure.
Dope.
Second watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Kel's in there somewhere too, right? Kel has dark vision. No?
I don't think Cal has dark vision.
Damn it.
I could
Kel
wrong
can
about
be
that.
my solo watch then. Wait, I feel like we've missed.
Yeah, no, Cal can go with
Something's
you,
I
and
think
then
you
I'll still
missed
take the solo.
Vati too.
Yeah, because I said I would.
Vati's on 4th.
Yeah, I thought I'd be in the last one.
Okay, you have dark vision, right?
Yeah, he does.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I'll join you on 4th.
And then Kel's in the middle there somewhere.
Cal would be with Marza.
Okay.
So,
I'm alone on the 1st, and then we have pairs for everyone.
Jolakesh doing 2 then?
No,
Is that what's
I'm
happening?
just doing one with Body.
Oh, you're just doing the last one.
Yeah,
Okay.
just-
So that has Igvis alone on the first one.
Yeah.
So it's
think
Igvis
I'll-
on the first, it's Honed and Elias on the second, Marza and Kel on the third, and Dolakesh and Vati on the fourth.
Right. I think first watch is least likely to see something. So yeah, I think that's the best one to be a loner.
All right, cool. Sounds good. So you guys will go to sleep. You will do your watches, and I think that this is a good, good place to call it for the night.
Okay. Yeah. As good as any.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, bought out the end. Let's go.
Everybody say goodbye to the stream.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye, stream.
Yeah.